31st January 2018. Time is 3 p.m. Speakers Conference Room 414. Announcer Honorable Mohammed Tahir Monguno, Chairman, Northeast Caucus. Communication from the President. Transmission of proposed Nigerian Minerals and Mining Bill 2017. I forward herewith the Nigeria Minerals and Mining Bill 2017 for the kind consideration and passage by the House of Representatives of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, while hoping that the bill would receive the usual expeditious consideration of the House of Representatives. Please accept the Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished members of the House of Representatives, the assurances of my highest consideration. Yours sincerely, President Muhammadu Buhari. Any member has a petition to present to the House may please rise to do so. Any petitions? Honorable Toby.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Toby Okechukwu. I represent an area of Wojiriba Federal Constituency from Enugu State. Mr. Speaker, this is a passionate letter to the House of Representatives through you with regard to a patriotic Nigerian, Mr. Emmanuel Collins Chukwu, who during the outbreak of the Liberian Civil War rescued 635 Nigerians on the instruction of the then ambassador of Nigeria, Ambassador Tuko. He had to abandon all his personal items and commodities to ensure that Nigerians who were trapped were rescued and brought back to this country. There were 635 in number. He had met Ibrahim Babangida, who was the head of state at that time, and various efforts, various promises were made to him. He had also met President Obasanjo to the same effect. Unfortunately, all the promissory notes given to him got blank. He is appealing to this House, the House of the people, to intervene so that he gets some mitigation and amelioration with the efforts that he made to secure the lives of Nigerians. So I so present, Mr. Speaker.
Please proceed and lay the petition. Honorable Eukaria and Ozodo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Azodo Eukaria, member representing Agwata Federal Constituency. I'm from Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, this petition is from my constituent, Umedebre Uzoma. He works with Federal Medical Center, KC, and he still works with them. But he was having problem with the head of unit, hematology, because there's a circular from the medical director that they should stop collecting 500 naira from patients, that the money is illegal. And he stopped as directed. And the head of his unit said that he must continue with the collection. He refused. And the woman said that he has transferred him from his department to another without any formal letter to that effect. Mr. Speaker, sir, he has written to the medical director and the hospital management on this particular issue. And they stopped paying his salary since November because the woman said that he has transferred him without any letter. So he's seeking for the House to intervene in this particular case. Mr. Speaker, I so submit.
Please proceed and lay the petition. Any more petitions? Honorable Rita Oji.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and distinguished colleagues. My name is Rita Oji, member representing Ajero, fellow of the Federal Constituency from Lagos State, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have a lot of petitions here from both my constituency and Nigeria, and they total up to 18, but I pray that you oblige me to read few of them in order to make it fair. The petition of Coalition of Civil Society Organizations for equity against the Inspector General of Police for constant failure to honor court judgments in favor of incorporated trustee of the peace cause. The second one is petition by Kelechi Nadi Esquire on behalf of Orubia Otoku communities of Ndopa East government on criminal pollution of River Niger water by way of selling oil exploration and energy production limited. And the third one is a petition by Banga Al-Hassan on denial of his employment in Federal Civil Service Commission by the head of the service. The petition by Lawlessness Square on behalf of Enoge elders on the incessant destruction of the residential building in Ovede community, Ovia Northeast, by men and officers of Nigerian police. Mr. Speaker and distinguished colleagues, I plead that the Speaker will oblige me to read the petition because there are too voluminous to read all of them, sir.
Please proceed and lay the petitions. Any more petitions? This is none for today. Petitions referred to the Committee on Public Petitions. Honorable members, the first business of the day is presentation of two reports of the Committee on Maritime Safety, Education and Administration, standing in the name of Honorable Umar Bago. Honorable members will recall that the bills were referred to the committee on Wednesday, 14 June 2017.
Mr. Speaker, I accept that indictment, sir. Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, I am Mohammed Umar Babu, member representing Chanchaga Federal Constituency of Niger State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I am here to present two reports. The first report is that this House will receive a report on a bill for an act to amend the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency Act number 17, 2017 to increase the functions of the agency and for related matters HB 1131 and HB 1178. The second report is that this House will receive a report on a bill for an act to amend the Maritime Operations Coordinating Board Act Cap M4, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, reconstituting the Maritime Operations Coordinating Board for effective control of all maritime operations in Nigerian territorial waters and the exclusive zone, create the Maritime Security Fund, establish anti-piracy offenses, and for other related matters, HB 1056. I so submit, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder, Honorable Obaga Sylvester.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleague, my name is Honorable Sylvester Waga, representing Abakaliki, Izzi Federal Constituency. I'm from Ebonyi State. Our seconds that the report has moved back by Honorable Bago be delayed. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Bago, please proceed and lay the reports. First order of the day, honorable colleagues, the third reading of the bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Maritime University of Koko, Delta State. And for related matters, honorable members will recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Wednesday, 17th January 2018. Therefore, call on the Leader of the House to move the bill be now read the third time. Acting Leader.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my name is Honorable Mohamed Muguno. I represent Martin Muguno, the Federal Constituency of Borno State. Acting here by the grace of Mr. Speaker. I hereby move that a bill for an act to establish the Nigeria Maritime University, Okero, Delta State, and for related matters be read at that time. I so move. Okay.
Honorable Bago.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion that the bill for an act to establish the Maritime University of Prekonko Delta State be read for the third time. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes of it. I invite the clerk to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to establish and for the third reading.
Bill read the third time and passed. The second order of the day, honorable colleagues, is the third reading of the bill for act to establish the Nigerian Electoral Offences Commission and for related matters. Honorable members, the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Thursday, 18 January 2018. Therefore, call on Leader of the House to move that the bill be now read the third time.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I hereby move that a bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Electoral Offences Commission and for related matters, House Bills 544 and 546 be read the third time. I so move.
Honorable Rano.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, Honorable San Mohammed Aliu from Kano State. I rise to second the motion being moved by the acting leader of this House. I so move.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes of it. I invite the clerk to read the long title of the bill.
A bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Electoral Offences Commission and for related matters. Third reading.
Bill the third time and passed. Honorable colleagues, third order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of Bill for an act to establish Federal Polytechnic, Abriba, Abia State, to provide for equity and access to tertiary education in the country, make comprehensive provisions for its management and administration, and for related matters. Standing in the name of Honorable Nkole Ndukwe, honorable members will recall the bill was read the first time on Thursday, 21st December 2017. And I invite Honorable Nkole to move that the bill be now read the second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I am Honorable Nkole, member representing the Sugar Federal Constituency. I rise this morning to move a motion for the reading of the second bill of an act to establish Federal Polytechnic Abia State to provide for equity and access to tertiary education in the country, to make comprehensive provisions for its management and administration and for related matters. HB 1263. I so move.
Seconder, Honorable Gololo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Highly distinguished colleagues. My name is Honorable Mohamed Gololo, representing the good people of Ghana and from Bauchi State. I rise to second the bill as ably moved by Honorable Nkole. I so second.
Honorable Nkole can now lead the debate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I still remain Honorable Nkolukodugwe. I represent the Federal Constituency of Abia State. Mr. Speaker, Honorable colleagues, this is a very harmless bill. It's just a bill to establish the Federal Polytechnic Abreba. Mr. Speaker, Honorable colleagues, permit me to lead the debate on the general principles of the bill on Thursday, 21st December 2017, in this hallowed chamber. My respected colleagues, this is a very straightforward piece of legislation that seeks to establish the Federal Polytechnic Abreba to ensure equity and access to tertiary education in the country, make comprehensive provision for its management and administration with restricted programs and limited and focused departments to aid the educational development and improvement of technical manpower in medium and small-scale enterprises in Abia State. The objectives of the Polytechnic shall be to encourage the advancement of learning and to hold out all positions without distinction of race, creed, sex, or political conviction the opportunity of acquiring a liberal education, provide technical courses of instruction and other facilities for the pursuit of learning in all its branches, and to make those facilities available on proper terms to such persons as are equipped to benefit from them. Encourage and promote scholarship and conduct research in all fields of learning with emphasis on technical education, and undertake any other activities appropriate of the Polytechnic of the highest standard. Provide courses of instruction and other facilities for the pursuit of learning in all its branches, and to make those facilities available on proper terms to such persons are equipped to benefit from them. The Polytechnic, when established, shall have powers to establish such campuses, departments, institutes, schools, extramural departments, and other teaching and research units within the Polytechnic as may from time to time deem necessary or desirable, subject to the approval of the National Board for Technical Education, NBT. Institute chief lecturerships, readerships, and associate chief lecturerships, and other posts and offices, and to make appointments thereto, and award fellowships, scholarships, exhibitions, bursaries, medals, prizes, and other titles, distinctions, awards, and forms of assistance. Provide for the residence, discipline, and welfare of members of the Polytechnic, and hold public lectures, and undertake printing, publishing, and book selling. Hold examinations and award degrees, diplomas, certificates, and other distinctions to persons who have pursued a course of study approved by the Polytechnic and have satisfied such other requirements as the Polytechnic may lay down. And also award honorary degrees, fellowships, or academic titles. Demand and receive from any student or any other person attending to the Polytechnic for the purpose of instruction such fees as the Polytechnic may from time to time determine, subject to the overall directives of the appropriate authority. Accept gifts, legacies, and donations, or without obligation to accept same for a particular purpose, unless it approves the terms and conditions attached thereto. Erect, provide, equip, and maintain libraries, laboratories, lecture halls, halls of residence, refectories, sports grounds, playing fields, and all other buildings or things necessary, suitable for or convenient for any of the objects of the Polytechnic. Make gifts for any charitable purpose. Do all such acts or things, whether or not incidental to the foregoing powers, as may advance the objectives of the Polytechnic. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues, in view of the effort currently made by the federal government of Nigeria to diversify the economy, the need to encourage education in Nigeria cannot be overemphasized. Hence, the much needed move to the federal polytechnic established in the commercial city in line with the federal government policy on education. I therefore urge my respected colleagues to support that the bill be read the second time and refer to the relevant committee for further legislative action. Honorable Speaker, respected colleagues, I so move. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any contributor to the debate? Though I put the question because it's straightforward. Okay, Honorable Jimo. You will be the last contributor to the debate because it's a straightforward topic.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. My name is Jima Ibrahim Olajide. I'm from Lagos Mainland, Federal Constituency, Lagos State. Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to commend Mr. Edukwe for this bill about the establishment of Federal Polytechnic, Abia State. This is one of the dividends of lawmakings that we can make. And I think it is one of the great laws. This law will bring purposes for the establishment of that great higher institution in that state. Every single law must have its purpose. This establishment of this university is about quantity and not about quality and not quantity. Because by establishing that university, that polytechnic there, it will bring more job opportunity for the teeming majority of Nigeria, and particularly the indigent of that very state. It also established what we call educational institutions that can be able to make research and researches in order to help the country and also to assist the state. This creation or establishment of this university is about reform that we have been talking about in this house, and it's a legislation that can help it out. This is where it can happen. So I salute his courage for bringing this to the floor of this house, and I'm in support. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Igarwe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues. My name is Honorable Igarwe Jumayenwo. I represent Africa North, Africa South Federal Constituency. I'm from Ebonyi State. Mr. Speaker, I also rise to speak in support of this bill. Just like my colleague just said, this parliament will always stand in favor of anything that goes to the educational advancement of this country. Mr. Speaker, I believe that is also the intendment of section 18.1 of the Constitution, which says, with your kind permission I read, that government shall direct its policy towards ensuring that there are adequate and equal educational opportunities at all levels. I think what my colleague is trying to do is to ensure that that part of his constituency has this educational opportunity.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, I am Honorable Samson Opu, member representing Oju of the Federal Constituency from Benue State. Mr. Speaker, I write for this bill because education is necessary. We can see that I believe it's a lack of education that we are facing a lot of problems and challenges in this country. A lot of our youth that don't pass through four kind of the university or tertiary institutions, they decide to take a second look by causing problems in the country. But Mr. Speaker, in supporting this bill, I'm concentrating in the area of equity. I believe when we're talking about equity, then we will now look at how every other federal constituency that in this country that they have no tertiary education or any higher institution. So I believe the mover of this bill, I don't know what we're going to do, but we will allow the bill, as supporting the bill to go for second reading, but the issue of equity should be deleted so that we don't usually have issue of equity, because we know that there are a lot of federal constituency in this place that we don't have that tertiary education. So in bringing that equity to make it equal with other federal constituency, I'm considering that. But really, I think the challenges these days is the issue of finances, how to go about to finance high institutions in the country. But in supporting this bill, because it's my friend, I believe
I want the issue of equity to be not to be there, because every all of us will have an issue of a problem of tertiary institutions, and we cannot force government to go and build all tertiary institutions in every nook and corner of this country. So I support the bill.
Minority Whip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Yaku Umar Bradley. I represent Chikun Federal Constituency. I'm from Kaduna State. Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to say I will support this bill because it is something that has to do with the future of this nation. Because when you educate the young ones, it's part of development. More so that we are talking about polytechnic. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, today we graduate a lot of university students. And in the employment market, you see that there is a gap of the middle cadre. Middle cadre in the sense that we need people who acquire different techniques, which is necessary, not just having a degree, but the middle cadre of employment where people are taught how to do various types of skills. They learn, and that is why sometimes in establishing polytechnic, you will agree with me that polytechnic graduates are better in terms of skills when it comes to employment, unlike graduates who will sit and what they do is to give instruction on how some things should be done. If you look at the employment rate today in Nigeria, most of the artisans people we have who are imported into the country, they come with polytechnic certificates because they have acquired skills. Then they are easily employed in Nigeria. Why in Nigeria if everybody wants to go and have a degree? And that leaves a gap for the middle cadre of employment in this country. And I want to support it because, Mr. Speaker, if you look at the admission policies today, you see that in university we have nearly 40-something thousand applicants qualified, but the vacancies there are just maybe 4,000 or 5,000. Now, what do you expect the other people who have gotten all the basic requirements, pass the JAM exams and pass the post-JAM exams? So they are left at the mercy of who knows who. So it has become a policy today in Nigeria that even when your child or your daughter is qualified, you need to know somebody in the university or somebody in the government, or you need to know somebody as a senator or a governor who will now give a note to complement the basic requirement that your own child or children have gotten. I think it is not good for the common man, because the common man who doesn't know anybody has a child who is qualified, pass post-JAM, pass the JAM, and at the end of the day is not able to get admission. So if we can encourage the establishment of more tertiary institutions, I think it will give a long leverage for people to get admission after they've acquired the basic knowledge of the requirements. So Mr. Speaker, one would not but help to say this is a good motion, because it will create a large latitude which will enable most of our youth that are even qualified to go to university, and they can even apply and go to polytechnic. So I want to support it, and I think it's something we should allow to go to the second reading. Thank you.
Honorable colleagues, I'll put the question. The question is that the bill be now read the second time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Clerks invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to establish the Federal Polytechnic at Abia State to provide for equity and access to tertiary education in the country, make comprehensive provisions for its management and administration, and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to Committee on Tertiary Education Services. Fourth order of the day, honorable colleagues, commencement of debate on the general principles of Bill for an Act to repeal the Health Records, Officers, Registration, etc. Act, Chapter H2, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and reenact the Health Information Practitioners Council of Nigeria for effective and efficient health information management to regulate the training, practice, and management of health information system in Nigeria and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Mohammed Usman. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Thursday, 30th November 2017, and I invite Honorable Usman to move the bill be now read the second time.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, Mohammed Usman is my name, and I represent the good people of Makarfi Kudan Federal Constituency, and I'm from Kaduna State. I rise to move that a bill for an act to repeal the Health Record Officers Registration Act, Cap H2 laws in Nigeria, and for related matters. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Mohammed Jega.
Thank you. Mohammed Umar Jega, representing Alarugondu Jega Federal Constituency of Kebbi State. I rise to second the motion heavily moved by my honorable colleague. I so second.
Honorable Usman, please lead the debate.
I remain Mohammed Usman. By way of an introduction, let me start by recalling the old adage which says that health is wealth, and a wealthy nation is not only one whose citizens are healthy, but one that takes care of all matters ancillary to achieving a healthy environment. There are about 5 major objectives of this bill. Now, these objectives are not limited to one, ushering in a good record system, which is important and key to achieving Goal 3 of the SDG. We will recall that the SDG provides that all nations must ensure healthy lives and promote the well-being of its citizens of all ages. Secondly, the bill seeks to bring the act sought to be repealed in line with current realities in the information management, so that the old system of records keeping is changed to accommodate ICT compliant system of information keeping and archiving. The record system currently in use in Nigeria is not only archaic, but is old-fashioned, and one that is no longer used globally. In fact, it has outlived its usefulness, and it negates international best practices. Thirdly, the bill seeks to establish the Health Information Practitioners Council of Nigeria as a body whose function shall include determining what standards of knowledge and skills to be attained by a person seeking to become a member of the health record management profession. Fourthly, it will facilitate the establishment and maintenance of a register of persons registered as health information practitioners. And fifthly, it will facilitate conducting examination in health record management and awarding certificates and diplomas to successful candidates. There are 2 major issues that I would want to really highlight in this bill. Firstly, the bill establishes a council to be the regulatory body of the health information management practitioners of Nigeria, And in addition, it shall provide guidelines and minimum qualifications of persons seeking to be a registered member of the Health Information Management Practitioners. The Council, under Clause 19 of the bill, has the power to approve any course of training which is intended for persons seeking to become a member of the Health Information Management Practitioners, as well as accrediting institutions to offer such courses. Secondly, it establishes the Health Information Management Practitioners Disciplinary Committee, which shall be charged with the duty of considering and determining any case referred to it by the disciplinary panel established in the bill. Decisions of the disciplinary committee may be taken to the Federal High Court where a person is not satisfied with his decisions. The Right Honorable Speaker, my respected colleagues, it is in the light of this argument which I proffered that I wish to solicit for your support to allow the bill be read a second time, as it will assist our nation to achieve sustainable growth in health environment. Thank you.
Honorable Jega.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues. I remain Mohammed Umar Jega, representing Aleru Gondu, the Federal Constituency of Kebbi State. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support the second reading of this bill to repeal the Health Record Officers Registration Act and enact the Health Information Practitioners Council of Nigeria. Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues, our laws are not static, they are dynamic. So in order to bring our laws in line with best international practices, I support the second reading of this bill so that our laws will be updated and put to be more effective and efficient in the management of information and record keeping in our hospitals. This bill is very important as the whole world has changed to a global village. It is therefore necessary for us to update our laws so that the information and record keeping in our hospitals will be updated and the practitioners of this information system will be brought in line with best international practices. I therefore support the second reading of this bill and call on my colleagues to support this bill so that it can see the light of.
Honorable Nuruddin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Nuruddin Olaitan Akinwumi, representing the good people of Ifako-Ijaye Federal Constituency in the state of excellence, Lagos. I rise to support this very, very good bill for some reasons. One, if this bill is passed, the health information system will help to have easy access to patients' data in the health sector for timely information that is needed in practice, administration, and research. Two, it will help to reduce information errors and increase speed of care. Three, health information that is gathered will help administrators, nurses, and general health practitioners to identify and eliminate activities that are ineffective, that are involved in patient care. Four, it will help planning monitoring, coordination, and decision-making in the health sector. It also has the tendency and propensity of giving us data security. For these basic reasons, I support this bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and my honorable colleagues.
Any more? Okay, Honorable ID.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues. I remain ID Gang, a member representing Bariki Ladiri Federal Constituency of Plateau State. I rise to lend my voice in support of this bill that is intended to repeal the Health Record Officers Act and to reenact it with a new act that will replace the existing one. As previous speakers have said, it is necessary for us to upgrade our laws in order to address issues that need to be brought in tandem with the times. And in particular, this bill is to, the repeal will enable us to transit the management of health information systems, transiting from analog to digital era. And not only that, it will afford practitioners the opportunity of upgrading their skills and competence by way of training in the digital component of the information management and in ICT component of managing our health information and records. It is to that effect that I support the second reading of this bill and ask other colleagues to support its passage. Thank you, Mr. Speaker and honorable colleagues.
Honorable Jimo.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. My name is Jima Abdurrahim Olajide. I'm from Lagos Mainland Federal Constituency, Lagos State. Mr. Speaker, sir, I think this bill for an act to repeal the health record officers is a very good bill for various reasons. For technological advancement, it's a welcome development. One of the sociology of lawmaking is to ensure that we make a law that will be meaningful to the people. And I believe, Mr. Speaker, on this basis, legislative enactment is from this floor. And on the following reason, the basic principle and merit of this bill will lower health costs by coordinating services and improving the quality of care. 2, improve access to patient data, improve work efficiency, meet better and
contribution. I'll put the question. The question is the bill we now read the second time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to repeal the Health Records Officers Registration etc. Act, Chapter H2 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and reenact the Health Information Practitioners Council of Nigeria for effective and efficient health information management, to regulate the training, practice, and management of health information system in Nigeria, and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill is referred to Committee on Healthcare Services. Fifth order of the day, honorable colleagues, commencement of debate on general principles bill for an act to amend the Federal Character Commission Act, Chapter F7, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to give married women option of indigenship and to provide for the establishment of Federal Character Tribunal for the prosecution of violations of the Federal Character Act and related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Edward Yang Pajok, Honorable Ochilego Idagbo. Honorable members will recall that the bills were consolidated on Tuesday, 19 December 2017. Now I invite Honorable Pajok to move the bill be now read the second time.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Edward Pajok. I represent the South and the East constituency of Plateau State. Mr. Speaker, may I move for the second reading of a bill for an act to amend the Federal Character Commission Act, Cap F7, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to give married women option of indigenship and to provide for the establishment of Federal Character Tribunal for the prosecution of violations of the Federal Character Act and for related matters, HB 1190 and 1203. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
My name is Honorable Asa Adam Shekarau. I represent Birnin-Gwari, Iwa Federal Constituency. I am from Kaduna State, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion as ably moved by Honorable Edward Vajab, son, that the bill be read the second time. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Pajok, please lead the debate.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, there are two bills. The first, which is my own, is on the issue of married women being made to enjoy only the citizenship of their fathers, that is their state of origin. And the second one is on the federal character, is on establishment of tribunal for violation of Federal Character Act. Mr. Speaker, may I read, for the purpose of, for us to understand the purport of this amendment, may I, with respect, read the principal legislation, which on section 2, the law as it is right now says, a married woman shall continue to lay claim to her state of origin for the purpose of implementation of the Federal Character Formula at the national level. So, Mr. Speaker, that is the law as of now, to say that she can only claim her state of origin. In other words, where her father comes from. So, Mr. Speaker, the law is about is for only official purposes. It is not going to be all-encompassing, that is, all women. And as we have heard, it only concerns only married women. If you are not married, you cannot enjoy the benefit of the amendment I am seeking note to make. So the amendment is only one phrase to say that if a woman is married and she works in government, for instance, maybe she's going to be promoted. Sometimes they will say, well, there is no more quota, or the quota has been filled for your state of origin, your father's state of origin. The woman, since she's married, should be able to say, okay, since I am married to my husband, who is from a different state, let me opt to go with my husband. Mr. Speaker, that is the purpose of this law. And if we recall, I think about 2 or 3 years back, there's one of our female justices in the Court of Appeal who was interviewed. She was found worthy to be promoted to the Supreme Court. But then at that time they said, well, her state of origin, the quota was already filled. She said, well, I am married to my husband who's from a different state. Let me take from my husband's state. At that time, there was a big furor. I remember Mukhtar was the CJ of Nigeria at that time. And although later on, because of the public outcry, she was made to take the benefit of her husband, but we think that the law ought to be amended so that if the law is amended, such crises will not come in. So, honorable colleagues, may I repeat that This is meant for only official purposes only. And that's why the law is on the Federal Character Commission Establishment Act. In fact, it's on the definition section where it is said that women can only enjoy from their father's state of origin. But when a woman marries, why would she not benefit from her husband's state of origin? In terms of government positions, it doesn't affect, it's not an all-commerce affair. So, honorable colleagues, that is the main amendment for the first one. The second one, I think my honorable colleague who sponsored the motion will move it on the issue of establishment of tribunals, because when there are violations of the federal character principle, most times people are left helpless. But if we have a specific tribunal that will deal with such matters, then there will be so many cases, and then we find out that yes, there is now obedience or compliance with the law, that is to say, federal character principle. So, honorable colleagues, I urge you please assent, to give your consent to this bill, because it is different from the last constitutional amendment with regards to this area. This one is only for official purposes only. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, honorable colleagues.
Honorable Nam Obi, the last contributor from this row. We'll move to Oderos.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My very distinguished colleagues. I am Ochichuku Namobi, and I represent the good people of Ahoda West and Oba Ibrahim and Don, the Federal Constituency of Real Estate. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, let me thank Honorable Podok for this wonderful bill. But before I go on with my contribution, I'd like it to be on record that sometime last year, I raised a similar, there was a bill that is close to what he's doing, but the amendment I'm hoping to do is that the part where you have the tribunal, it be removed, because mine is actually at the committee stage. But other than that, I'd like to support this bill because of the quandary that women go through. But without also leaving out the fact that Section 26 of Section 2A that talks about indigenization, where you have a foreigner who is married to a Nigerian. Now, for the purposes of clarity, I think that when it gets to the committee stage, we should look at it so that there is a uniform law. Otherwise, it will amount to altering the Constitution. So I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this privilege. Thank you.
Co-sponsor of the bill is Honorable Lego. Honorable Lego, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I am Honorable Lego Idagbo. I represent the good people of Bekwara, Obudu, and Obaniku Federal Constituency, and I'm from Cross River State. Mr. Speaker, like you rightly observed, I'm a co-sponsor of this bill. Before I go into my arguments, I would like to read a section of the Constitution. Section 14, sub 3. The composition of the government of the Federation or any of its agencies and the conduct of affairs shall be carried out in such a manner as to reflect the federal character of Nigeria and the need to promote unity and also command national loyalty, thereby ensuring that there shall be no prominence of persons from a few states or from a few ethnic or other sectional groups in that government or in any of its agencies. Mr. Speaker, Section 14 of the Constitution seeks to promote national unity and to give every Nigerian a sense of belonging, as it will ensure that public service institutions fairly reflect the linguistic, ethnic. Over the years, Mr. Speaker, this section has operated in breach, and because there is no tribunal in place where these complaints can be taken to, sometimes some of these breaches are left unattended. So it's a very straightforward amendment that I'm proposing, which is to say that there should be a tribunal, a federal character tribunal, that will enforce some of these breaches of the federal character principle as enshrined in our Constitution. If this is done, it will go a long way to prevent most of the distrust that some of our brothers from some areas of the country are feeling. will go a long way to ensure that Nigeria indeed operates as a united entity, which is what the Constitution seeks to ensure. Mr. Speaker, also in supporting the other arm of the amendment, which is that our women be allowed to choose. It's also very important that the fact that a woman is married to a man from another part of the country should not limit her to benefits that would ordinarily have accrued to her should she not have been so married. That's why that arm of it seeks to say that if the benefits from where she's married to do not exist, she could also benefit from primarily where she originates from. Mr. Speaker, it's a very good bill. I call on my colleagues to support this bill. It's a straightforward amendment that will do our country a lot of good. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable John Morocco.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable members, my name is Joan Onyemechi Morocco. I represent Anyocha Oshun, the Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Delta State. Mr. Speaker, I want to wholeheartedly support this two-in-one bill. The first one talks about the married Nigerian woman. As a female politician, every day we come across such attacks. One person is saying, go to your husband's place, go and contest from there. Your husband's people are saying, you are not from here, go to your father's house. Your father's house, they are saying, where are you from? So it's a very big dilemma. And like the Honorable SAN said, when it comes to the point where a woman is going to benefit, that's when you really have mischief makers rise up to say, no, if this is for this state, she cannot benefit, her birthplace is there. And if it's from her coming from her father's angle, she said, no, we are giving her out in marriage, she should go there. So I wholeheartedly, I want to take the time of this house, support this bill. Let there be a straightforward, straight-lined and agreed position on where the married Nigerian woman belongs. That she has the right to say, yes, I am married to this man for life, I claim everything there, or I want to be with my father's house and have my inheritance there. It should be, the men are not restricted. It's only when it comes to the Nigerian woman that we begin to see all kinds of bottle holes. You are not from here, you are not from there. And I think this is a very wonderful bill. And every right thinking, and I know all the very distinguished honorable members here, they are right thinking, they will support this bill. The second arm, Mr. Speaker, yes, we say we are a federal government, we are one people, we are one nation. But we have a situation where we have, especially recently, we had employment in some places, and you hear the name of one state or one region or one senatorial district of a state collect everything. The issue of federal character should be looked into, because if we are one Nigeria, we are one people, then we should do everything to show that we value the unity of Nigeria. When people in the helm of affairs disregard this federal character issue or the federal character position, it's done with so much impunity, because some people from a certain quarter just shout, and at the end of the day, the employments are allowed to go on. Nothing is done about it. But when we have this kind of tribunal that will punish offenders, then everybody will begin to fall in line. If you want to do a recruit, if you want to employ people, you do so in line with the constitutional provisions. You do so in line with the expectations of the Nigerian Constitution. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm in full support of both bills into one. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Afe, are you still going to speak? Okay, they will move to this.
Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, my name is Afe Nogre. I represent Akure North and South Federal Constituency of Ondo State. I want to lend my support to this very important bill, and to say that women should be allowed to make their choice in this issue without being discriminated against
by virtue of where they marry from or where they are hailed from, and that that should not even be allowed to impede their aspirations or career progression. As the mover of the sponsor of the bill earlier said, that even the appointment of a judge was, delayed just because of this issue of determining where she really belongs, either the husband's place or the parents, should not be allowed. Once that potential is there for them to perform, or which they have to showcase, they should be allowed to really choose either of the, either from their father's clan or the husband to make their own contribution as they wish to do. So I am supporting this bill, even though at times it may amount to double privilege, but I think we have to support them so that they can showcase their potentials. Thanks very much.
Honorable Chika Adamu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Abubakar Chika Adamu. I represent Shiroro Rakimuya Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I'm from Niger State. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, a great thanks to my dear friend, the lead sponsor of the bill, and the co-sponsor for bringing a wonderful amendment to the Federal Character Act. First, Mr. Speaker, let me start with the Federal Character Tribunal. Mr. Speaker, here we are when people are employed in position of public service, entrusted with abiding by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. When they assume office, they take over and use impunity to govern such offices. Today, 30 out of the 100 that are supposed to be employed will come from his own local government. And rather, even within his own local government, 20 will even come from his own ward and from his own immediate family. This is a greater impunity that the tribunal, I believe, will address. And apart from even employment, we look at federal character principle only in terms of employment. No, in terms of also other infrastructure that are to be cited by the federal government. There is supposed to be no predominance of infrastructure in a particular area. The wealth is a national wealth that we believe the wealth should be distributed nearly with not necessarily equally, but it should be distributed with equity, because the needs may not be the same, and that is why we may not call it equally. But I think the national wealth also should be distributed in terms of infrastructure with equity. However, the second leg of the amendment, Mr. Speaker, which stipulated that a woman can assume the status, because she may not have indigenship as we claim, because you are not supposed to have dual indigenship. But officially, for official purposes, a woman should be able to claim where her husband comes from. But Mr. Speaker, on a lighter note, I am now disturbed that probably I have 2 wives, somebody have 3 wives, somebody have 4 wives. I believe that the bill should not only address that it is only my first wife that will claim where I come from. Other wives also have rights, and I believe the bill should be able to look at that aspect, that my other wife, so that when tomorrow my first wife is the head of service of where I come from, the second wife becomes the secretary to the state government, and the third wife becomes the chief judge, people should stop complaining. People should accept it, yes, they are there because they are competent, and they want to have such position. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, my dear colleagues.
I think we've gone past this row. Honorable Dr. M.S. Abdul.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Dr. Muhammad Sani Abdul, Al-Khalirikri Federal Constituency. I'm from Bauchi State. Sir, I stand to lend my voice also in support of these two consolidated bills. And I'm doing that with a lot of responsibility. Sir, you are a lawyer and you know the dictum that it says, he who goes to equity must go with clean hands. If we can cross carpet to go and pick a wife from our Bible and bring her to Bauchi, if somebody from Sokoto will go to Lagos and pick a wife, then it's only fair that once she is in Bauchi or Sokoto, she becomes amenable to enjoy everything that is in their domicile. And that is the principle that is in my mind that I stand. Secondly, as I said, marriage is a cross-cutting national, community, and societal issue. It respects no boundary, it respects no ethnicity, it's a matter of the heart, and is a building block of communities and nations that do well. In fact, it brings succor to national crisis and strife. So I think this one, amendments will definitely add value to our national cohesion. It will also, of course, encourage marriage, because if I know, once I marry, my wife has all the lages of state policy if she's working and in an official capacity, then it will make it easy for me to marry, so she will not be a burden to me. Finally, that she will have children. The children will have love from where she comes from, and they have love from where they are. And therefore, we will have a better nation. Sir, it will also allow husbands to encourage them to marry and contribute to national development. Finally, regarding the tribunal, sir, it will give teeth to the federal character law and provide direct recourse to victims and interested party of federal character violations. So far, we don't know how to do it, and there is a lot of nepotism in the land. As Chika has said, it's not the issue of employment, but it's the issue of distributive justice in our national life. So these two amendments are really important and germane and timely, and I think we should give it, the two amendments easy passage to the committee and second reading, so that something good will come out and will enjoy whatever positive thing that this creates. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I lend my voice to this.
Honorable MT.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my name is Honorable Mohammed Munguno. I represent Martin Munguno, Gande Federal Constituency of Borno State. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I want to argue on the second aspect of the bill. That is the one that seeks the establishment of the Federal Character Tribunal. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the founding fathers of this country decided to enshrine the principle of federal character in our constitution, and other those having realized that Nigeria is a heterogeneous society with avalanche of interests that must be protected at all times, so that the component units that constitute the Nigerian nation state will have a sense of belonging. That is the reasoning behind the introduction of federal character in our constitution, in our various laws. But of recent, we are all living witnesses to the fact that head of MDS, because of the privileged position that they are occupying, when it comes to provision of infrastructure, or when it comes to employment, they decide to be nepotic by only employing people not even from their state or even from their local government, but some of them go to the extent of employing majority of the people from their own ethnic group. There is an agency where in the course of the recruitment, the head of the agency decided to recruit only people that are related to him and that are related to his wife. That is the extent to which the principle of federal character is flagrantly violated. So every component unit of the Nigerian society must have a sense of belonging. In view of that, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I urge my colleagues to support the second reading of this bill. Thank you.
Honorable EJ.
My right honorable Speaker and dear colleagues, let me thank you for the opportunity given to me once again. I remain Honorable E.J. Agwanima, representing the good people of Ego, Gubaha Federal Constituency, Edo State. Mr. Speaker, I look at this bill, a bill for an act to amend the Federal Character Commission Act. My dear colleagues, as much as I appreciate the bill, but there is an issue. There is a problem, fundamental problem in this country. Do we have characters to put this country forward? Talking about the women, married women, married, maybe somebody from Edo State, married to somebody in the Kaduna, or somebody from Imo, married to somebody in Lagos, and we call that we are one Nigeria. If we are one Nigeria, we have one country. We believe in this country. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, something is missing somewhere. If it is not because that something is missing, this bill should have been a bill many years ago, but thank God to who brought this bill forward at this time, because I said all the time that this honorable house is the last hope for ordinary Nigerians. Why am I saying this, Mr. Speaker? How come a woman married a man in another state and she's deprived to benefit from the state? And I'm happy, my Speaker, you are from Bauchi State. I am from Edo State. Does it mean if my wife happens to be from Jos and is back to Edo State and she decides to contest for an office, they will say no, she's not qualified? Why are we doing this? I think, first of all, let us impose on ourselves character that should portray positive, to bring dividends of democracy to the yearning of the people. Let us change our hearts, our mindset is doing the right thing. The right thing is, they're out there, they are there. It's just that we have failed to our hell. We know the wrong from right and the right from wrong. We know it all. We cannot say that the women, your own wife, married to a woman, when there is opportunity for her to get something, to be elevated, she's deprived because of our selfish interest. Let us be selfless. Let us be selfless, because these women are the ones that brought us to this world. We must be responsible, we must be accountable, we must appreciate them, we must love them, because God is love, and God is love, and love is God, and love is God. Mr. Honorable Speaker, thank you very much, and dear colleagues.
Honorable Obaga.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name remains Honorable Sylvester Waga. I represent Abakaliki Zipra constituency. I'm from Ebonyi State, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, a look at this bill portrays when we make a law
that is not realizable, that does not show the diversity that exists in Nigeria. We may make a political law that cannot be obeyed after we have been done with it. Certain tradition in Nigeria does not give the wife a right in areas where she comes from. And if we give this opportunity, we will create crisis in marriages. Marriage is an institution that needs to be respected. We have to look at the merits of this bill, not on political angles, because we are not only talking about people contesting elections. The right of having share of other issues and positions should also be taken into consideration. So option in this regard may not be very important to Nigerians. If we are having tribunal, the issue of giving women options should not exist. We should look at it as opportunities given to Nigeria and aspect of area where individuals are coming from. By marriage, a wife is tied to the husband and she belongs to where the husband belongs. I call on my dear colleagues that if this bill should fly for the second reading, the issue of giving wives option should be deleted from it. And we look at it on other things shareable to this, to our Nigerians. So, Mr. Speaker, I asked and pray that the issue of option should not be there, but the tribunal can fly for us to checkmate what people do in various agencies in Nigeria when it comes to sharing positions, employment, and other issues. I so submit, Mr. Speaker.
I think the debate has been exhaustive, so I'll put the question. And the question is that the bill be now read the second time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. I thought you were sitting. I almost wanted to ask you to stand up.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to amend the Federal Character Commission Act, Chapter F, 7 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to provide, to give married women option of indigenship and to provide for the establishment of the Federal Character Tribunal for the prosecution of violations of the Federal Character Act and for related matters. Second reading.
Silence, please. Or
bill referred to Committee on Federal Character. Sixth order of the day is a motion on request for extension of referral time to enable the ad hoc committee on the abuse of pioneer status by companies to conclude work on the matter. Referred 21st July 2016. Standing in the name of Honorable Gaza Jonathan Befri, Honorable Gaza is now invited to move motion.
Right, Honorable Speaker, Honorable colleagues, my name is Gaza Jonathan Befri, and I represent the people of Karukefi, Kokona Federal Constituency. I rise to move a motion for a request for extension of referral of time to enable the other committee on abuse of pioneer status by company to conclude work on the matter. I so move, Right, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Hosea Charles.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Sorry, Honorable Gaza, you haven't moved the motion.
The House recalls that on Thursday, 21st July 2016, the House constituted an ad hoc committee on the abuse of pioneer status by companies. They also recall that the other committee was mandated to investigate the matter of the issuance of pioneer status to deserving companies in Nigeria and the power vested in Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission in accordance with the Industrial Development Income
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I, Honorable Bangoshe Otoyo Joseph, representing Badagry Federal Constituency, I rise to second the motion as moved by my honorable colleague. I so second. Thank you.
Honorable Omale, your motion relates to the completion of infrastructure and in line with the provisions of our standing orders. I will just go ahead and put the question. The question is that those in favor of the motion say aye, those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Eighth order of the day, honorable colleagues, a motion on need to return the unutilized expanses of land acquired for military barracks to the host communities, standing in the name of Honorable Afe Oluwakere. Honorable Afe is now invited to move the motion.
Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, my name once again is Afe Oluwakere. I represent Akure North and South Federal Constituency of Ondo State. I rise this afternoon to move this motion on the need to return the unutilized expanses of lands acquired from military barracks to the host communities. The House notes that in the 70s, the depth of the cities for purposes of establishing military barracks. Also notes that at the time those lands were acquired, the communities affected could not raise any voice of opposition in spite of the economic deprivation the action constituted, considering the draconian nature of military rule. Further notes that since the acquisition, none of those lands has been put to maximum use by the military. Rather, more than 80% of the land has not been occupied. A good example of is the Oweno Army Barracks in Akure, Ondo State, Alamala Army Barracks in Abeokuta, Ogun State, Ojo Military Cantonment in Ibadan, Oyo State, and some in some other states in Osogbo, in Plateau, Jos, and the Abuja acquisition that covers Giri-Suba, Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. Informed that the commandants of those barracks have using agents turned to emergency landlords and are now giving out the periphery of the lands to people that desire land for economic venture on an annual rentage and are making in for themselves colossal amounts of money, while properties of those tenants are usually destroyed in the event of defaults in payments of rents. The House resolved to urge the Federal Ministry of Power, Works and Housing and Defense, in collaboration with the Ministry of Lands in those states, to work out the modalities for the returns of those expanses of unutilized land to the host community for productive utilization. And two, mandate the committees on defense and housing to ensure implementation. So I moved.
Seconder. Honorable Engineer Farouk.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, Honorable Engineer Farouk. I wish to complete a motion being moved by the right
Honorable Afe can now lead the debate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, Honorable Abdul Samad.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I am Abdul Samad, the Sufi representing Kabeta Board. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I come on the 9 to 6, which says it shall be out of order to attempt to reconsider any specific question upon which the House has come to a conclusion during the current session, except for the substantive motion for decision. Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, if you look at the vote and proceedings of yesterday, this was very well debated on this floor and agreed, which has to do with the accommodation of members of the armed forces. And this was clearly highlighted. They have loads of these lands, but no resources, no funds to develop these places. And most of them is a lot of litigation. And the resolution of this House yesterday was that we mandate the committees on defense, justice, housing, and even Navy, Army, and Air Force to interface with the ministries concerned to get to a conclusion with regards to this. So if you look at the votes and proceedings of yesterday, Honorable Speaker, Honorable colleagues, you can find this same motion was looked into. So that's the point of my Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
It appears that Honorable Abdul Samad is right on point. Honorable Afe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think I have a copy of yesterday's motion relating to this issue, which is quite different from the content of this particular motion. What the motion that was raised yesterday was discussed was the issue of inadequate accommodation for the military. Whereas what we are saying is that the military barracks, the military have acquired large expanses of lands that are not put to use, and that even the small portion that they occupy, they cannot even maintain that small portion, and as such, that some of these lands that are not put to use should be returned to the host communities to put them into use. More so that today the country is even focusing on agriculture, and these lands are locked up and are not being put into use, and the members of these host communities are suffering on the use of their land. So I'm advocating this motion that these lands that are not put to use, 80% of what they have acquired should be released to the host communities.
Well, I think it's on the same subject matter. The point is that if you have acquired land and you don't have the resources to develop them, and you don't have accommodation, so what happens? They want to develop those land, but they don't have the resources. And when you are building an armed forces, you are not just doing it for our generation. From projections in the next 25 years, Nigeria will be home to about 450 million people. What will be the size of the armed forces? Where will you accommodate them? Will you wait until that time before you start acquiring more land? In order to build Honorable Chinda, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I support the move of this motion. The subject matters are not the same. The motion of yesterday was talking about welfare of members of the armed forces, particularly concerning housing. And we asked that the Joint Committee...
No, Honorable Chinda, the question is if you return the land and you now have money to develop barracks, where do you build them?
That question is not for us at this stage. What the motion is talking about is land acquired for public purpose, overriding public interest, but are now diverted. I'll give an example in my own constituency. Air Force acquired land during the war, emergency situation. Today, they are giving developers part of that land to develop and sell to the public, while the owners do not even have a plot. A young man from that community buys land elsewhere. That's what this motion is trying to address. If the military now says, look, the land is in use, we don't have land that is not in use to give back to the community, they will tell whatever committee that to set up.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. My name is Lasso Yusuf. I represent the record room Olorunda Oludo Shogofara constituency. I'm from the state of Osun. Yes, I listened to Honorable Chinda, but the purpose of the motion itself is what the Speaker has just silently contributed on. But I want my contribution to be looked at this way. Yes, lands have been acquired over time and they are not being developed. But Mr. Speaker is right that why should such lands be given up at this point in time? Because one, a country, if you are not at war and there is no farming, you keep developing in terms of population and you keep increasing the security, the volume and size of your security agencies. And it is equally true that what Chinda just said is that some of these land too are being allocated to developers and individuals. And so what does that mean? The person who moved the motion wants to solve a problem in a manner that we cannot look at it holistically by saying, one, that such lands that have been acquired for such purposes cannot be tampered with, and it should remain for what purposes have been acquired for originally. That should be emphasized, because Mr. Speaker is right, and one of the bane of our development, particularly in the third world countries, we don't begin to think of solving our problems until the problem is set at our doorstep. And so the mere fact that those lands are there and they are not being developed now does not mean that there is no longer going to be a use for it in future. So having solved that, the fear that raised by Tinder is equally very, very valid. It is disheartening when you have lands acquired from people, and over time you now begin to give to people because of their status and the fact that they have acquired wealth, and you now begin to deny primarily those who should have rights to those lands. So, Mr. Speaker, I would want the motion, in my own opinion, to be treated as such. Your suggestion is correct. We shouldn't give back the land. Tinder's position too is correct. We should make sure that there is a caveat that such land should not be allocated to developers or individuals without giving the rights to those whose land are taken over from at the initial stage. When we are able to balance these two, then we'll be in a better position, because as far as I'm concerned, it is not right to say that because those lands are not being used now, that they should be given up. It is not right. We know sometimes we know how Abuja was. When we used to call the Okada aircraft in those days, we know how Abuja was. The most popular place in Abuja was Julius Junction. But today, you know how big Abuja is. So if the federal government has given up those lands they took over since then, where will the federal government be building all the infrastructure they are building now? So, Mr. Speaker, I think we should be sincere with ourselves. The land must not be given up, but there should be a caveat from the Tinder's position that such lands must not be given to developers and private individuals without using the land for what is acquired for investors.
Honorable Zachary.
My name is Zachary Mohammed. I represent Bautinka, Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker for Kwara State. Mr. Speaker, yesterday there was a motion about the housing needs of the military yesterday. And extensively, one of our colleagues gave us statistics that were in deficit. He said we have over 1 million men in both the three armed forces. And of course, we're in deficit by 1/3 of it. So where do we have lands to do the development that we're asking for? So lastly, on the last contribution, I just feel that the caveat should be that for every lands that are given to barracks or the military, none of those lands should be sold. That if there are infringements, we can investigate and tell them that let the situation go back to the status quo and that they should return them back to the owners. I think what we are mixing up here is that some of those armed forces have their commercial branch, and they go in conjunction with the private sector, the PPP arrangement to develop houses. But what happens to some of those houses are retirement homes. I know of one or two situations elsewhere. But if there are chances or there are cases of outright giveaway, those lands by the military to the civilian public or other prospective buyers, we should investigate that. But still, we still need those lands for further development, because a country is waged by the strength of its military. America today is great because of the strength of the military. So what will happen going forward? Let's look at 20, 40 years after today. What happens? There will be bigger barracks, there will be more personnel, and where do they have lands for development? So I don't think that we should go that way. In amending, we just believe that if there are infringements, we should investigate those infringements, and we should leave those lands for the military, because it's not even safe to have the barracks closer to the civilian public because of the nature of their work and the nature of their operations. Mr. Speaker, that's my submission.
Chairman rules.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Okay, Jeff. I represent the group people of Kuruku, my dear colleagues. I'm from Benue State. Mr. Speaker, I just want to guide a little. Honorable Dasuki raised a point of order. It seems to me like the point of order has been ignored and we are going on with the debate. I have a copy of the vote of proceedings of yesterday. There were 2 resolutions. And then there are also 2 resolutions that are sought, 2 reliefs that are sought from today's motion. I want to agree entirely with Honorable Kasuki that the purpose of this motion will defeat the resolution that were taken yesterday. Clearly, they will defeat because today's motion is saying retrieve the land because they are not being utilized. Yesterday's motions referred the matter to several committees, including housing, to see how accommodation could be given to members of the armed forces. The point of order should be sustained. Because we'll be giving with one hand and taking with the other. Yesterday we say, these committees go ahead and look at ways of giving accommodation to these people. Today, we'll allow this motion, take the land away from them. If they want to bring accommodation, they will start looking for land afresh. So I honestly think that Honorable Kasuki's point of order should be sustained.
I think the amendment somehow, if we're able to pursue the amendment there suggested, that would be perfect. To ensure that the land is only used for the purposes for which they were acquired. So that they stop allocating this to private developers or individuals. Otherwise, in the next few years, they will have to start acquiring more land again in order to expand. So the aim is defeated. Honorable EJ.
My Honorable Speaker, dear colleagues, I remain Honorable E.J. Agwanyima, representing the good people of Ego Kubaka Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, sir, this motion, Mr. Speaker, dear colleagues, we must be very, very careful. A land given to the military for many years ago, are we saying that the military will remain stagnant or there must be progression? It is because the government has failed to fund them. You look at the military men and women serving this nation, at the end of the day, they get nothing in return. At least, Mr. Speaker, if this motion had to treat the issue of not being put into use, the property or the land given to the military has not been put into use, not to be given to anyone else, is a different issue, Mr. Speaker. The mover of this motion maybe have a good intention, but this intention is to frustrate the military. I don't think this is fair. I understand, Mr. Speaker, if the Speaker, the mover of this motion, is saying that, look, I read the prayers of this motion, Mr. Speaker. I'm bothered by the prayers. I'm very bothered that you not take the property that was given to the military many years ago. You are saying we must return them. You should step it down, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable Namobi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Very distinguished colleagues. My name is Oshi Chukwunamobi and I represent the good people of all the West and Oba Ememendon Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to lend my voice to your earlier submission that the prayer be amended so that the amount will be used for what it is given for. Now, nobody is imputing improper motives here. Nobody is putting the military. We're just saying that they are not agents who should give up the land. So that's what I'm saying, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Honorable Oladele.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Kayo Diorade, and I represent Egbado North in the Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues are from the state. Yes, Mr. Speaker, I just want to refer us to the Land Use Act, which is part of the constitution of this country. Mr. Speaker, under the Land Use Act, all lands in various states are vested in the governors of those states. And there is section 28 of the Land Use Act that gives the governors powers to revoke any land for public use or for any other public question. Mr. Speaker, what we are talking about here now is about barracks or lands that have been acquired by the military in various states. If those state governors believe and feel that those lands are not being used for what they are meant for, Mr. Speaker, they have the power under the law to revoke the certificates of occupancy being given to them. But at this point in time, it will amount to usurpation of the powers conferred on the state governors by the Land Use Act, which is incorporated as part of the constitution of this country. For us to begin to talk about lands being given, that have been given to the military to be taken away from them, it is the prerogative of the governors of those states whose lands are vested as trustees of those states to ensure that they do the right thing. I think that is my submission, Mr. Speaker. For us to move beyond this will be usurpation of the powers of the Constitution, as granted of the governors, as granted to them by the Constitution. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Henry Ofongo.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Honorable Henry Ofongo. I represent South Anijo Federal Constituency of Bayelsa State. Mr. Speaker, I think when you look at this motion, the essence of this motion is that land allocated to the military is not being used adequately, and rather they are giving out these lands at the expense of the communities. I think the major thing is the people in those communities are aggrieved, because if the land is donated for public use, for the interest of the public, and now instead of this land to be being used for that purpose, they are now using it as a private way of raising money. I think that's where the communities are aggrieved. So I would want to, support what Chinda said. If most of these lands that are supposed to be for the military are being given to private people to develop and to use it for their own private purposes, I think those investigations have to be made, and such lands be returned. Because if we don't take care of that area and we only look at the fact that yes, we agree our military will grow, there is no need looking for land at that time. But the minute they start giving them out, that means already those lands are being used. The fear being expressed that if we revoke these lands back from the military, we take these lands back from the military, that it will frustrate the military in the future. Already that frustration is going on. Going by the fact that they are already giving out these lands to private people. So for me, I think we should really look at the fact that proper investigation has to be made on specific military barracks where these lands are given out, so that these lands should be returned back to the military. If they don't have use for it, then let them tell the various state governments, so that the state governments can use them for other purposes that will be beneficial for the public. Thank you.
Honorable Nkole.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Ukondo Nkole. I represent our...
It's a practical surface. C-A-S-H, cash. Owo. Egamaka. Moja keku. Owo. Ashi moja kumemba. Owo. Moja kaka yomo. Money answered all things. Owo. Apostle Kapraka. Kaka, big meeting. Obale. Onyama. Kuya.
address. Yesterday we talked about shortage of accommodation in the barracks. And if we are now to say that we are going to solve that problem, we actually need lands to resolve all those issues. Because land is a fixed asset, and you cannot change, you cannot increase, you cannot expand it. So I think what should be addressed here is this, with this motion, marrying it together with what already agreed yesterday, that those areas of encroachment, through our instrumentality of oversight, during the public hearing on these issues, we should now holistically target the issues of encroachments, taking our lands and conversion of conversion of land uses to what they are meant for. By oversight powers already vested on this house, we should now carry out that oversight by making sure that all those lands that have been illegally encroached upon by either the commanders as being alleged or indigenes encroaching into the land, but we will make sure that all those illegal uses are reverted and those lands free for the purpose of the military. Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, this is my humble submission.
Honorable Pochok.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable colleagues. Honorable Speaker, I have here the votes and proceedings of yesterday, 30th January, and then today's motion. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the key words in yesterday's resolution are providing befitting housing accommodation for personnel of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Yesterday. Today, we're saying work out the modalities for the return of those expanses of unutilized lands to the host communities for productive utilization. Mr. Speaker, that's why Honorable Nasuki raised his objection, because if we pass this motion, it will defeat yesterday's resolution. Mr. Speaker, because, like you rightly pointed out, if we say provide accommodation for armed forces personnel, then you are saying return land to host communities. The first issue is, where will you get the land to provide the fitting accommodation for the armed forces personnel? Number two, Mr. Speaker, apart from I agree with the submission of Honorable Kayode Oladole on the provision of the Land Use Act, but there's also another provision. If you say return land back to the host communities, are you saying that when government acquired those lands, compensation was not paid? That means the communities have reversionary interest, because you can only return if there's reversionary interest in the land owners. So, Mr. Speaker, we should be very, very careful, because by saying this is government land, it means everything has been done, and the land is now belongs to the government. It means the only way you can take it back is through Section 28 of the Land Use Act, like Honorable Oladele said. That means the governors now use their powers to say we are now going to revoke, because it's not being used for the internet no benefit. So, Mr. Speaker, we should be very, very careful. Today's motion will defeat yesterday's no resolution. So, thank God some of the chairmen of the relevant offices are here. When there's a public hearing, they take all this into consideration and even take care of the concerns raised by His Excellency the Deputy Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Said Fijabi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Said Akane Fijabi. Mr. Speaker, I think this the motion moved by Honorable Roker is a bit straightforward, and with your contribution and Deputy Speaker's contribution, I think what Honorable Roker pointed out is that there's some commandants trying to sell the land, which obviously we can investigate that one. And what Honorable Dasuki said about accommodation can still remain. I don't think there is any problem in investigating if the commandant are selling the land for their own personal or the organization's gain. So, Mr. Speaker, I think we should just wait for the DS amendment so we can amend and just pass the motion. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Sajos.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My highly esteemed colleagues, I'm Sejus Ose Ogun. I represent Esan Southeast, Esan Northeast, and I'm from Edo State. Mr. Speaker, I think the mover of this motion has good intentions, because there has been agitation around the country concerning land given to the military. But if we also cast our mind back to the fact that in the 70s, when this land was given out, if you go and check closely, people were not living around these areas at all. It was like evil forest. And they threw the military there. Today, development has gone there, and you have people living around there. But in any case, like my colleague just said, yesterday, here we agreed on certain things here. If we are saying we should build more befitting accommodation for the military, and now today we are saying we should take the land back, we are working at cross purposes. So, but just to add again, the other day was on television that the National Guard, they have a land where they seemingly claim that they have a colony where they have, or a ranch where they have cows. So if today the government is saying we should diversify into agriculture, and the army says they are farming, and they have a ranch, where? I also want to assume it's on that same land. So if we are saying take back the land today, and yet we want to build befitting accommodation for the army, I think we are speaking from both sides of the mouth. So I want to align myself with my colleagues that are saying the land has been given to the army. If they are not using it for the purpose for which it was given to them, yeah, maybe the committees mentioned here can look into that. But in any case, I also want to quickly add, when you say they are giving out the land, it's all for temporary use, from what I can see. I don't think they are permanent structures, like they have the Mami markets and all. Those are all temporary structures. If tomorrow the army decides to develop those areas, they will take them out. So my contribution today is the land has been given to the military. It should remain like that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my highly esteemed colleagues.
Honorable Shuaibu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues. My name is Abdurrahman Shuaibu. I represent Mubi North, Mubi South, and Maiha Federal Constituency. I'm from Adamawa State. Mr. Speaker, I stand to oppose this motion because I have not seen any reason for it. Are we advising the state governors to revoke these certificates of occupancy issued to these military formations? Or what are we doing? Are we constituting ourselves as government that we can revoke certificates of occupancies issued? If there is any need, I think various state governments, if there is any need for them to take over any part of any military's land, they can write and revoke the certificates. Because what happened, we had that incident in Adamawa State when the governor was constructing a road from the army barracks to Mayoine. The road was passing through the army's land. What he did was to write to the Ministry of Defense, asking them to relinquish that other part of the land and relocate their brigade headquarters to the other side. And that's exactly what happened. He relocated their brigade headquarters, they relinquished the other part of the land, and the road was constructed. So we should not constitute ourselves as state governments to sit down here and try to revoke certificates issued to most of these lands. They have certificates. Even those that don't have certificates, they had letters of allocation. And if you are talking about community, most lands are not owned by communities, they are owned by individuals. So which community are you going to give? How are you going to share it to the community that you are giving back the land? If government needs to utilize any part of the land, then the government can make processes to take over the land for the utilization of government, but not to give out back to communities, because we will create more problems. We will create more community disputes, because to share the land, because this land, most of it, some of it were, as honorable colleague said, were vast expanse of land in the forest, but part of it was also owned by individuals that was taken over and was revoked, and sometimes compensations were paid. So we should not support this motion. We should just allow, because we have that very important motion advising the military to concentrate more on building accommodation for their officers. So we should not accept this motion. It's not the right time for it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues.
Honorable colleagues, I think we're not taking cautions until we have taken the amendments. There's an amendment from the DS.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My name is Lasun Yusuf. I represent Repodun, Olorunda, Orolu Osogbo Federal Constituency. I'm from the state of Osun. My amendment is to delete prayer 1 and replace it with urge the Federal Ministry of Power, Works and Housing and Defense not to, under any guise, reallocate lands acquired for specific purposes to either individuals or corporate bodies with a soul of using it for other development activities. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Nkole.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I remain Honorable Nkole. I represent our Federal Constituency. I rise to second the amendment made by the TS. I so second.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. I think that amendment has swallowed Honorable Hassan's amendment. Honorable Farouk's amendment too has been swallowed by that one. So I'll put the question on the motion as amended. Those in favor of the motion as amended say aye. Those against it say nay. The ayes have it. Ninth order of the day is a motion on need to investigate licensed lottery operators for defaulting in their financial obligations to the federal government. Standing in the name of Honorable Abdul Razak Saad Namdas. Honorable Namdas is now invited to move the motion.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Abdul Razak Saad Namdas. I represent Ganye Jada Tongo Mayo Belwa. I am from Adamawa State. Mr. Speaker, I am the Gangwi Ganye. Mr. Speaker, the motion is on the need to investigate licensed lottery operators for defaulting in their financial obligations to the federal government. The House notes that out of 21 licensed lottery operators in the country, only 2 or 3 have successfully paid their fees and other taxes to the federal government over the last few years, thus leading to the country losing millions of naira in revenue to the lottery operators. The House also notes that all over the world, tax evasion is deemed a very serious offense, as most advanced countries sustain their economies through effective and transparent taxation system, where operators of businesses pay their taxes promptly. Mr. Speaker, aware that the Nigerian Lottery Commission can become one of the revenue-generating agencies if the operators of lottery are made to pay taxes to the government as when due, as the government needs the money to execute various projects rather than borrowing to fund annual budgets. Also aware that those lottery operators have been defaulting in payment of all their fees to the Commission for more than 10 years now, including the nature and type of games being played, the list of winners and total amount generated. Mr. Speaker, the House recalls that the acting Director General of the Commission even stated that since his assumption of office about 4 months ago, the operators have not been meeting their obligations. The House resolved, Mr. Speaker, to mandate the Committee on Governmental Affairs.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Magaji Dawaliu, member representing Boji Brunun Kudu. Honorable colleagues, I'm from Jigawa State. I rise to support the motion as ably presented by Honorable Abdulrazak Ad Numbers. I so second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Namdas.
Mr. Speaker, I'm Abrazak Namdas. I represent Ganye Jada Tongo Maebelwa. I'm from Adamawa State. Mr. Speaker, I want to place on record that after oil and gas, custom and excise duties, agriculture and solid minerals, the Nigeria Lottery Commission is an agency. It's capable of generating serious revenues to the coffers of the Federation. In fact, under Section 40, subsection A of the Lottery Act, proceeds of lottery funds shall be applied from time to time to fund projects approved by the President, based on recommendations of Board of Trustees in the interest of the Nigerian community. And this project, Mr. Speaker, includes in the area of sports development, education, social services, public welfare, and relief materials. And going back to history, Mr. Speaker, as far back as 20 BC, when the barbarians attacked China, and the Chinese government did not have enough money to build up their defense, they ran a lottery and raised enough money to build up their defense, including the Great Wall of China, one of the several wonders of the world. And this is a work of lottery. In South Africa, Mr. Speaker, the lottery share funds got generated revenue about 141.3 billion. That is in South Africa. That is what the lottery can be able to generate. In Nigeria here, Mr. Speaker, the proceeds of lottery are used to build boreholes and even fight desert encroachment. However, in Nigeria, Mr. Speaker, lottery and gaming have opened up series of markets, market opportunities for investors. In fact, in 2016, Mr. Speaker, it was estimated that Nigerians spend an average of 154 billion daily on betting, with 7.5 million lottery and 22 million sports betting players. According to Nigerian Lottery Regulatory Commission, projected profit from the promo lottery alone is about 45 billion naira, Mr. Speaker. The SMS lottery can generate about 150 billion in revenue, Mr. Speaker, because it's ICT driven. And all this, we are able to get only 2 billion, Mr. Speaker, as against over 150 or 300 billion respectively. In view of this, Mr. Speaker, since even the acting DG himself has stated that since his assumption of office, which is almost 4 months, none of the players have been able to pay taxes. And therefore, it is very important that we take the issue of lottery very serious in this country, because it is capable of generating so much revenue to the Federation. It can give employment to our youth, because those who win can do certain things. Some who don't win will win tomorrow. And therefore, we should not take it lightly, because some countries in Asian countries, in South Africa, as I've stated, have also been able to rely on some of these to fund their projects to get revenue, and it helped their economy. And therefore, it is very important that we should give our Committee on Governmental Affairs that oversee the lottery to investigate why some of these operators do not pay. That out of the 21, only 2 or 3 were able to pay their responsibility. I therefore move, Mr. Speaker.
Any contributor to the debate, even though it's investigative? So I'll put the question. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. The 10th order of the day, honorable colleagues, a motion calling for a cost analysis of the monies recovered by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, and the cause of prosecution of cases standing in the name of Honorable Sajos Ose Ogun. Honorable Ogun is now invited to move the motion.
Mr. Speaker, my highly esteemed colleagues, I'm Sejus Ose Ogun. I represent Eastern Southeast, Eastern Northeast, and I'm from Edo State. Mr. Speaker, I've had a chat with my colleague, the chairman of Financial Crimes, and he has explained certain things to me and has promised that I will get more details from the various agencies. So, based on that, I'm stepping down this motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Sergius, did you say you are sourcing for more facts? Do you want to finish the investigation before bringing the matter to the floor? Don't worry. Motion stepped down by leave of the House. 11th order of the day is a motion on need to decongest Nigeria prisons to promote the fundamental rights of inmates, international standards and best practices, standing in the name of Honorable Olufemi Fake. Honorable Fake is now invited to move the motion. I thought Honorable Fake was on the floor. Where is he?
I saw him.
Okay, he's on his way.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My name is Honorable Femi Fakeye from Ifedayo, Bodwadru and Ila Federal Constituency from the state of Osun. I rise to move a motion on the need to decongest Nigerian prisons to promote the fundamental rights of inmates, international standards, and best practices. The House notes that the level of congestion in Nigerian prisons has become so alarming that they no longer serve as correctional facilities for the reformation of inmates. Also note the information by the Prisoners Rehabilitation and Welfare Action, PRAWA, in partnership with the Nigerian Prison Service, NPS, showing that only 21,354 inmates, comprising 21,009 males and 345 females only, were convicted offenders, while the remaining 46,756 inmates, comprising 45,765 male and 991 female, were still awaiting trial. Further note that the United Nations Minimum Standard Rules for Treatment of Prisoners, also known as the UN Nelson Mandela Rules, provide in Rules 12 sub 1 and sub 2 and section 13 that where sleeping accommodation is in individual cells or rooms, each prisoner shall occupy by night a cell or room by himself or herself, but that in special cases, such as temporary overcrowding, it is left to the given prison authority to vary this rule, provided that due regard will be paid to climatic conditions and particularly to cubic content of air, minimum floor space, lighting, heating, and ventilation, etc. Aware that due to high congestion in virtually all our prisons, the inmates are exposed to risks of epidemics, jailbreaks, lack of inmate reform, transmission of bad habits and crime techniques by hardened criminals, antisocial tendencies and moral decadence, ranging from homosexuality to other forms of human abuse through illicit relationships, which have also become common features of the prisons. Concerned that congestion in the prisons has become so acute that many cells meant to accommodate about 50 inmates were found to be accommodating up to 150 inmates. A case in point being the Kirikiri maximum security prison in Lagos, which was built to accommodate 956 inmates, but today is occupied by over 2,600 inmates. Also concerned that the courts have continued to send accused persons to the already overcrowded prisons, even when their offenses could have been otherwise handled in line with the provisions of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, ACJA 2015. Further concerned that the objectives of the criminal justice system The primary purpose of governance under the fundamental objectives and directives of principles of state policy in the 1999 Constitution is as well as fundamental rights of Nigerians and several treaties to which Nigeria is a signatory will be negated if the poor state of the prisons is not urgently addressed. The House resolves, therefore, to mandate the Committees on Interior, Human Rights, Judiciary, FCT, and Police Affairs to conduct an investigative hearing on prison reforms in order to identify the specific challenges in terms of infrastructure, administration of criminal justice system, and other factors that will facilitate the congestion and reform of the prison system, and report back to the House in 6 weeks for further legislative action. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I so move.
Seconder, Honorable Namobi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm Uchichiku Namobi. I represent the good people of Ahoda West and Oba Ebema and Donny Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion ably moved by Honorable Dufemi Fakaya as a second.
Honorable Fakaya, please lead the debate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, one more time. I think the issue of our prisons and the congestion inside of them has been a long-standing one, and I believe it's about time we took a lot of focus on the situation. As of December 2016, we had an estimated 68,110 inmates in our prisons all over Nigeria. Of these 68,000 people, only 31% of them were actually convicted of one offense or the other, whereas 69% of them were just awaiting trial, which means people that are not convicted, they form the majority of our inmates. They may be first-time offenders, and if you keep them there for a long time, they become hardened criminals, even as they may come out being released by the courts. If they spend too much time awaiting trial, they spend a year, maybe two, awaiting trial, they will come out as hardened criminals. Therefore, we need to take action to ensure that they are not retained for too long in jail. Above all, Mr. Speaker, it is all about money and allocation and budgetary allocation. We need to find through our committees exactly how can we facilitate the equipping, the building of more prisons for our environment. As you know, we are in the tropics, where even when you have air conditioning in your house, you may not have NEPA. How much less for those who are put together like sardines in one room under intense heat? It becomes almost inhuman for us to keep them there for unduly length of time. So, Mr. Speaker, I think the prayer is very simple and straight and direct, that our cognate committees should put heads together and do an investigation of what we have to do so that these people don't feel like they are forgotten in jail. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Minority Whip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Yakubu Mabrode. I represent Chukwuka, the Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I want to applaud the honorable member that brought this very important motion, which has to do with how our prisons are operated. Mr. Speaker, I think our prisons are meant to be either reformatory or punitive. Punitive in the sense that if somebody is in prison, it is expected that when he comes out, he is remorseful and is a changed person and better to serve the society in a more useful capacity. But unfortunately, because of what the mover of the motion said, and what is apart from the fact that they are exposed to an epidemic of diseases, they come out to be more disastrous to the country. And an example is that you look at the people that are in prison today, as said by the mover, most of them are awaiting trial. It means that they are there and they have not been tried, and as long as they remain there, they are joined with criminals, hardened criminals, who usually teach them things that when they come out, they become hardened criminals. And it would be unfortunate that somebody who is awaiting trial would be in prison for a period of, let's say, 4 or 5 years, awaiting trial, and when he comes out, maybe if he's exonerated at the end of the day by the court and he's acquitted, he comes back to the society, and even if what the offense that took him there was a very minimal or something that could be overlooked, he comes out after learning skills to be maybe an armed robber, because he has been joined together with somebody who is a very good armed robber, who knows how to use the gun and knows how to trick people and defraud society. So, Mr. Speaker, I think it is a very, very important motion that we should look at it and make sure that we don't send people to prison who come out to be more harmful to the society. Rather, let's put people in prison who will come out and are serving the society in a better capacity, having in mind that I have been punished, I come out now a more sober person who is ready to contribute more meaningful to my society than coming out as a criminal, which he was not before he went to the prison. So I think it's a very important motion, and we should support it and make sure that our prisons are such in a way that people come out to be more meaningful, to give more meaningful service to society than coming out to be criminals, which is more dangerous to the society. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleague, I think it's important that we look at this so that our society will be better off. Thank you.
Honorable Aminu Shehu Shagari.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Aminu Shehu Shagari, I represent Kiabo Shagari constituency in Sokoto State. And let me first of all commend the mover of this motion, Honorable Olufemi Bake, for a very beautiful motion. But I would also want to say that this has become a recurring decimal in all the assemblies I've been privileged to attend. Almost in the 6th assembly, in the 7th assembly, and now the 8th assembly, we always do an exercise such as this. And it is still the same old story. Our prisons still are remaining congested. There's a survey that has been carried out by the Nigerian Prison Service, and the report is going to be submitted tomorrow at Ladi Kwali Hall in Sheraton. This survey that these committees are expected to make. So anybody that is interested could please go and attend the program. But I think that report will also help the committee that is going to be set up following the passage of this motion, so that they now know the next steps to take. But I also want to suggest here that it is not only by sending people to prison that you can reform them. There are issues like community service that our judges can send offending citizens to, where, for instance, if you are convicted of maybe drunken driving or driving under the influence, you can go and serve in maybe a hospital where accident and emergency ward, and then you see the consequences of what you would have now caused, and then that would now make you a reformed person. Or, you know, you are asked to go and serve in an orphanage where you see the sufferings of people that have become orphans due to losing their breadwinners, and so on and so forth. Then you also have things like parole services, where, for instance, if a person has been seen to have changed during his stay in incarceration, you can now say, okay, you can send him out on parole, and then you assign an officer that will keep an eye on his behavior so that he doesn't repeat the same thing, and the parole is now withdrawn on commission of another offense. These are all things that you could do to reduce the congestion in our prisons. then the awaiting trial inmates being joined with the convicts. This is something that should never happen, because an awaiting trial person is expected to be, or is presumed innocent until proven guilty. So he should not be joined with hardened criminals that might make him a criminal. So these are issues that the committee, when formed, should look into. I support the motion, and I urge my colleagues to please do the same. Thank you.
Honorable Dr. MS.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Dr. Mohammed Sani Abdu Al-Kali, Rikiri Federal Constituency, I'm from Bauchi State. Sir, I want to contribute my quota in supporting this motion from a different perspective, and that is the issue of the physical infrastructure bottlenecks of the prisons. So many of our prisons and detention centers, if any, that's the second leg, the detention centers, have outdated themselves, they have outlived their usefulness, they are in state of dilapidation, and they are even inhuman to be said to be used today. And I think that we need to look at that. There is also the need not only to rehabilitate, to refurbish, to expand, and even to classify and change the kind of prison system. That means but also to separate detention centers from prisons. These are all innovations that are done all over the world to change. Indeed, today, for example, in the United States, sir, they have, because of the high capital input in building those social overhead costs, they have now outsourced it. There are security companies who invest in detention centers, in postal homes, and so on. And they are servicing the government in such a way that social category of offenders, or those who are on awaiting trials, so this and that, are taken to category A, B, and C, and so on for a fee. I think we need to be more innovative in this sense, and also use our investors, our organized private sector to look into this. I believe we will have a way, and that is my modest contribution. I'm not a lawyer. Built in 1804 and is still there at the middle of the city with a capacity of only 50 people, and is now put about 1,000 people are there. I think it's not fair. It's not right, and we need to look at that physical infrastructure thing. And we can even go to capital market and find way of solving these problems. We need to be more innovative and change. And there are also categories: maximum detention, medium, and low-risk detention centers, as distinct from convicted jails. I think this separation needs to be done. And I want to support this motion, and I think we need to look at this, and then I hope we'll come to the end of this protracted problem which keeps on coming every year. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Any more contributions? Honorable Ogene? Okay, and after Honorable Law.
Mr. Speaker, fellow colleagues, my name is Honorable Ogene Ego. I represent the good people of Amwodo Federal Constituency, Lagos State. This motion touches me a lot because Kirikiri Prison, which is the biggest prison yard in the country, is located in my constituency. And Mr. Speaker, I've had occasion to go there to see inmates. Indeed, during my last birthday, I celebrated with the inmates. When you get there, you will pity people. You find out that a prison that was built more than 60 years ago to accommodate a particular number of people have remained as it is up to now. Meanwhile, the population of those who are going to prison, population of Nigeria is growing higher. Population of crime is going higher. Therefore, the people who require the service of prison the population is going higher. These prisons have never been expanded. They remain the same thing. If you look at the whole country, you will find out that statistically, in the last 20, 30 years, the number of people who have gone to prison have more than quadrupled. Whereas the number of prisons have remained the same thing. And not only that, most of them are dilapidated. And so I think that the first thing to do will be to find out if the federal government has the capacity to run prisons. If they cannot, let them give it out to the states. That's why we're talking about restructuring. Let every state run its own prison yards. If you do it that way, the state can decide to fark it out, to give it to private experts to help them to run. But for the federal government to collect all the prisons in the country, they are not able to expand them, they are not able to run them, I think it's very, very unfair that it's inhuman on our people. Another major issue is the type of people who go to prison. During my last birthday, I released 12 prisoners. What were their offenses? Wandering. When you ask this will say, they sent me a message to somewhere, I was going to Victoria Island, and police came, they asked me for, where am I working? I told them the place. They asked me for my ID card, I didn't have, and so they arrested me. Some of them were even going to their house when they were arrested. And as I speak today, those people form the bulk of prisoners. Some of them are kept here for 6 months or for 1 year, even more, until somebody will come and bail them. And when they don't have anybody reputable who can bail them, they don't have money to pay to a lawyer, they just languish in that place. And so, the first thing is to look at the offenses that carry people to prison. Are there some of the offenses like wandering that could be classified as lesser offenses so that the people who are charged with those offenses could be given maybe, a community service work. And that is if you are able to ascertain it. And a situation where somebody does not have an ID card, and because of that, you say the person is wandering, it's wrong. When they are not caught with the substantial offense they are committing. So I think that my contribution to this is that the federal government should discuss with the states and indeed hand over the prisons to states. Let every state maintain its prison. If the federal government is so interested in maintaining prison, they can run their own. But give the states authority to maintain prison. I think the states will do it better because there's no state governor who would allow his own people to be treated the way prisoners are being treated right now. After all, they are human beings. And what they need to be done for them is to correct them so that they can be reabsorbed into society. As we see today, prisoners, when they come back, they are not capable of being reabsorbed into society. Nothing is done to correct them, no trade is learned, and the people come back as not just frustrated, but very, very angry with society, very angry with government. You can imagine a man who is arrested for wandering and is kept behind bars in prison for over 6 months. If he misses with hardened criminal, when he comes back, he will have no mercy. These are the kind of people we have everywhere, and that's why crime is increasing. So we need a major reform of our prison system. Thank you very much.
Rules and business.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I actually didn't want to interrupt Honorable Kenneth, but for the records, I think we should put the records straight. Let's know what he actually did. He's telling us that during his last birthday, he released 10 prisoners. Is it that he broke prison and got them back, or what? So we know actually what he did, and the records will be straight. How did he release the prisoners? So that for the records, Mr. Speaker.
Who released prisoners?
Yeah.
Honorable Ogene.
I was to pay the fine when we discovered that some of these people were arrested just for wandering. So I paid the fine of 12 prisoners and they were released. All their pictures were published in newspapers. I took pictures with them. And I'm hoping that by my next birthday, I'm going to release more prisoners whom I can pay their fine. Anybody?
You are not releasing them. You didn't release them. You facilitated their release. Honorable Lawal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My respected honorable colleagues, my name is Lawal Abubakar. I represent the people of Yola North, Yola South, and Gire. I'm from Adamawa State. Mr. Speaker, I would like to congratulate the mover of this motion for bringing this motion on the floor. My support for this motion is in that he is not entitled to human dignity. Section 34 of the Constitution has provided it's a fundamental human right to dignity. A prisoner is supposed to be treated with fairness, equity, and justice. The purpose that he's in the prison is entirely a different issue. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I have a practical experience in the sense that in my constituents, I visited the prisons last 2 months, and you see the kind of inhuman treatment that is there, the decay in infrastructure, dilapidated infrastructure. I had to use some of my personal money to provide for some of this water. There is no water there. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, this motion is really apt. It is timely. We need to sit down. This is a house of the people and a house of equity. We need to also assist and help those that are in prison. I'm saying this because some prison inmates, it's not as if they are criminal. They are there probably maybe by some either omission or commission. So they need to be treated fairly as enshrined in Section 34 of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, like some of my colleagues have observed, if you go to some countries, developed countries, they don't even call them prisons, but rehabilitation center. The fact that somebody is there, he has committed an offense, I'm not here to talk about theories of punishment, but then some that are there, they need to be rehabilitated at least while they were put in that prison. Not necessarily that the fact that maybe they have stolen some money or they have committed some grievous offense. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I am in support of this motion, and if I can borrow the word of Honorable Osaya, we should give it the speed of light. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and my honorable colleagues. I rest my case here.
Honorable Jega.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues. I'm Mohamed Umar Jega, representing Alirogondu Jega constituency of Kebbi State. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support this motion because of its importance. Our prisons no longer serve as correctional institutions. They no longer correct and serve as a deterrent for others so that their behavior can be reformed and they can be corrected to come back to the society and contribute to the development of this our great nation. So this motion is timely and we should support it so that we introduce reforms to our prison institutions so that it can serve as a deterrent and correctional institutions so that the inmates can come out to be persons of better behavior and to contribute their quota to the development of this nation. We should therefore support this motion so that it can serve the purpose for which it is presented. I support this motion, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Any more contributions? There's a notice of amendment from Honorable Aisha Duku.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. My highly esteemed colleagues, I'm Honorable Aisha Duku, member representing the Funapa Federal Constituency, I come from Gombe State. Mr. Speaker, my colleagues, my amendment says they should construct separate female prisons to avoid molestation and other immoral acts, such as unwanted pregnancies. That's my amendment. Thank you.
Second, Honorable Afe.
Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, my name is Afelo Okele from Ondo State, Akure Federal Constituency. I rise to second the amendment proposed by Honorable Aishatu Duku. So I second.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Those in favor of the motion as amended say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Consideration of reports. 12th order of the day is consideration of report of the Committee on Agricultural Production and Services on the bill for an act to establish the Fisheries Society of Nigeria charged with responsibility for registration and disciplining of members of the profession for related matters. Honorable members will recall the report was late on Thursday, 19 July 2017. Honorable M.T. Monguno will move for its consideration.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Marke Monguno, Nganzai Federal Constituency of Borno State. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I hereby move that the House do consider the report of the Committee on Agricultural Production and Services on a bill for an act to establish the Fisheries Society of Nigeria charged with responsibility for registration and discipline of members of the profession and for related matters, House Bill 595, and approve the recommendations therein. I so move.
Seconder, rules and business.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Okay, Jeff. I represent the good people of Buruku, my dear colleagues. I'm from Benue State. I rise to second the motion acceptably moved by Honorable Mongono. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. 13th order of the day is consideration report of the Committee on Police Affairs on the bill for an act to amend the Explosive Act, Chapter E, 18 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 relating to their regulations, penalties for defaulters, to make provisions for the control of importation, use and control of explosive in Nigeria, and for matters connected therewith. Honorable members will recall the report was laid on Thursday, 9th November 2017. Honorable Haliru Dauda Jika will move for its consideration. Okay, the Deputy Chairman is there. Your deputies.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Emmanuel Menga. I represent Kasnara Federal Constituency. I'm from Benue State. I hereby move that the House do consider the report of Committee of Police Affairs on a bill for an act to amend the Explosives Act Cap E18, Laws of the Federation, for an act to, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, relating to their regulations, penalties for defaulters, to make provisions for control of importation, manufacture, distribution, storage, possession, and use of firecrackers and explosives, to repeal the Explosives Act Cap E18, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and reenact the Explosives Act 2017 to make comprehensive provisions for use and control of explosives in Nigeria and for matters connected therewith. I hereby move.
Seconder, Honorable Rima.
Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, my name is Remande Shaulu Kweum, representing Takum Donga, Osa, and Yangtu Federal Constituency in Taraba State. I rise to second the motion assembly moved by the Deputy Chairman, Police Affairs. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. honorable colleagues, announce constitution of some outstanding ad hoc committees that were adopted since last year, which we haven't. And the first is ad hoc committee to interfaith Okolo, Honorable Rima Shaulu, Honorable Funke Adedoyin. The chairman will be Honorable Aminu Ashuruman. Next is the ad hoc committee to investigate the under-remittances of revenue by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to the Federation account. Membership, Honorable Ayo Midaran was mover of the motion. Honorable Adamu Etono, Honorable Ali Issa Jesse, Honorable Darlington Wokocha, Honorable Sali Sugarba Koko, Honorable Ibrahim Abdullah Duse, Honorable Unwaziruku Chukuma, Honorable John Marakpo, Honorable Mohammed A. Sanda, Honorable Diri Doye, Honorable Zachary Salisu, Honorable Abbas Tajuddin. The chair will be Honorable Abiodun James Faleki. Next is the ad hoc committee to investigate the state of the nation's 4 refineries, their turnaround maintenance, TAM, and regular modular license refineries. Membership, Honorable Akinfola Rinmayowa, Honorable Loved Idisi, Honorable Chris Ngoro, Honorable Malam Bukar Gana, Honorable Dixon Taki, Honorable Shehu Ali Musa, Honorable Philip A. Gatua, Honorable Yahaya Chadu Gora, Honorable Jerome Amadi Ike, Honorable Jide Jimo, Chairman Honorable Garba Datti Mohammed. Ad hoc committee to investigate for investigation into data collection process, maintenance and usage by the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission. Membership, Honorable Obinna Chidoka, mover of the motion, Honorable Baba Jimmy Benson, Honorable Mohammed Usman, Honorable Mohammed Ayuba, Honorable Barry Mpigi, Honorable Joan Murakpo, Honorable Onibo Sam, Honorable Mohammed Jega, Chairman Honorable Mark T. Gila. Ad hoc committee on the utilization of 350 billion naira National Resource Fund, NRF, as a financial window for development of the solid mineral sector and the need to ascertain federal government investment and proceeds from solid minerals and steel development. Membership, Honorable Bambose, Honorable Awodu Mila Kinyele, Honorable Ogbe Lazarus, Honorable Pondi, Honorable Emmanuel Kwate, Honorable Garba Chedi Hamanjulde, Honorable Aliu Shehu AA, Honorable Garba Shehu Sarkin Numa, Chairman Honorable Adamu Kamale. Ad hoc committee to investigate election to boards of the National Sports Federation and forms of engagements and sporting activities in Nigeria. Honorable Awaji Abiente, Honorable Emeka Ujam, Honorable Michael Omabemi, Honorable Olayonu Tokwe, Honorable Badamasi, Honorable Ayo Midran, and Honorable Hassan Muazu, Chairman. The ad hoc committee to investigate all outstanding sums due to the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. Membership, Honorable Prestige Osi, mover of the motion, Honorable Arede Lubenga, Honorable Kabir Shuaibu, Honorable Edem Etambora, Honorable Oyeufi Gabriel, Honorable Yusuf Buba, Honorable Karimi Sonde, Honorable Charles Sosa, Honorable Kainde Abola Emmanuel, Honorable Hassan Bala Abubakar II, Chairman Honorable Rufai Chechangi. Ad hoc committee to investigate the local concessionary tariff given to companies by the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment for sugar importation into the country from 2013 to 2016 as contained in the backward integration policy. Membership, Honorable Abdul Qadir Rais, Honorable Basi Epeong, Honorable Abdurrahman Shuaibu, Honorable Lawal Abubakar, Honorable Mrs. Mato, Honorable Lawal Hassan Anka, Honorable Randolph Brown, Honorable Chime Oji, Honorable Murtala, Honorable Nuruddin, Chairman Honorable Olad Abiodun Walasupo. Ad hoc Committee on the allegation of unwarranted harassment, persecution, and threat to the life by DCP Abdul-Yari S. Lafia with the Nigerian Police Academy Wudil, Kano. Membership Honorable Garba Chedi, Honorable Prestige, mover of the motion, Honorable Farouk Abdullahi, Honorable Engineer Sani Bala, Honorable Goodluck Opia, Honorable Yukeria Azado, Chairman Honorable Diri Doe. Ad hoc Committee to investigate the activities of the Presidential Task Force on Pension Reforms from 2010 to the time of its dissolution. Membership Honorable Amiru Tukuru, Honorable Akintola Michael Taiwo, Honorable Garba Umar Durbunde, Honorable Emmanuel S. Akpan, Honorable Simon Arabo, Honorable Nkole, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, Honorable Adamu Burai, Honorable Joseph Edonwela, Honorable Samson, Chairman Honorable Anayo Nibe. Finally, ad hoc committee to investigate the huge debts owed to indigenous companies by international oil and gas companies. House Resolution 15, 2018. Membership, Honorable Abdullahi I. Garba, Honorable Mohammed Gololo, Honorable Darlington Wokocha, Honorable Johnson Oguma, Honorable Evelyn Oboro, Honorable Fagen Gao, Honorable Olamide, Honorable Abdullahi Kukawa, Honorable Maga Jidao Aliu, Honorable Sonde Katung, the Chairman, Honorable Daniel Reneju, the Chairman. So, leader, please.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I hereby move that the House do adopt the Committee of the Whole to consider report.
Rules and business.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Okay, Jeff, I represent the
House hereby resolve into Committee of the Whole to consider the reports.
Honorable colleagues, the time is fast spent. Let's Engineer Bala, you can't make noise from the speaker's seat. Incidentally, Engineer Bala is my friend. The first report to be considered is the report of the House Committee on Agricultural Production and Services on a bill for an act to establish Chartered Fisheries Society of Nigeria charged with its responsibility for registration and discipline of members of the profession and for related matters. I now invite the Chairman House Committee on Agricultural Production and Services. MT.
Chairman, honorable members, essentially what this bill seeks to do is to regulate the fisheries profession. We are all aware that there is huge gap in the fisheries requirement of this country, and government has taken steps towards the first ban on importation of fish into this country, while at the same time encouraging local production to meet off with the local demand for the consumption of fish in this country. So as a result of this drive, it behoves on us as a parliament to enact a law that is going to guide and regulate the fishing profession so that it will stamp out quackery and it will also instill discipline into the profession. So that is essentially what this bill seeks to do, is to regulate the fisheries profession, and is at no cost to the government. The membership of the society are the ones that are going to tax themselves and then administer the institute. So I urge the House to pass this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. If only the Kano caucus will allow us to pass this bill. Honorable Bade, Deputy Minority Whip. Thank you. This bill has 28 clauses. We now go ahead to consider the clauses. Clause 1. Okay. First, Honorable Shagari, thereafter Pajok. Oh, okay, you are together.
Yes, it's just typographical on D, 1D. Shall be the apex professional and regulatory body instead of regulating body. It should be a regulatory body, sir.
That's a syntax. It's a syntax. So we have carried 1, 2. MS on what? On that same 1D.
Sir, all societies and institutes that I know in Nigeria, they are either professional or regulatory. For example, your institute, the Nigerian Society of Engineers, is professional, but current is the regulatory. Nigerian Institute of Architects is professional, ARCON is regulatory. Nigerian Institute of Town Planners is professional. The same thing, TOPREC is the like that in all the institutes and societies. Now we are lumping it and say it is the same professional and regulatory. I don't know how these two functions will reason, and I want it to be cleared for me in order to pass this. That's all. Thank you, sir.
Your interjection is valid. Empty.
I think it's a matter of discretion for a profession to either divide the regulatory aspect of it and then the professional aspect of it. If a society on their own volition decide to combine the two, I think we should allow it to go. It is purely discretionary. There is no law that states that we must divide the regulatory aspect and the professional aspect of it. There is no law. So it is purely discretionary and it is not binding on a particular profession to divide the regulatory aspect and the professional aspect of it. I so submit.
One question that I will ask, maybe just take your seat first. When you have both the professional and regulatory bodies together in one basket, are you not trying to ouster some other non-professional ones that might have something to do with that professional body? Are you not? That's my question, empty. Then you now take it along with what Pajok is likely to say now. My question is, if you combine both professional and regulatory bodies together, are you not trying to ouster some other professional bodies that may have something to do with that profession and they will be handicapped? So, Pajok, your own interjection before you answer the two.
Sir, let me thank you for being very perspicacious on this matter. What I wanted to add to what you have just contributed, sir, is to say it offends law of natural justice. In law, is what they call audi alteram. So you cannot be there must be fair hearing, and you cannot be a judge in your own cause. Because if you are regulating and then you are still the same professional body, there will be no fair hearing. So it goes against the nature
demonstrated by the learned essay Memo Judas Pasaqua. You cannot be a judge in your own cause, and also the principle of audi alter pater. Here the other side. As I submitted earlier on, the intention of this bill in combining these two together is one arm will take care of the professional aspect, and at the same time there is another arm that is going to take care of the regulatory aspect. But ab initio, the intention of this bill is purely to look at the professional aspect. So in view of the observations made by my colleagues, I want to crave for your indulgence to strike out the regulatory aspect and then continue with the professional aspect. So in view of that dilemma, in view of that very valid observation that was made, there is a need for us to step down this bill and then reconsider it again. Thank you.
There are some few of you that I cannot look at your face and just rule anyhow. And you are probably the number one on the list because of your seniority in the House and the fact that you are number one person in the Committee of the Whole. Ordinarily, if it's another member, I would have said step down some 3 minutes ago. And I'm happy that you said that. I'm happy that you say that. Please, let's step down. And we have to thank MS for, observing that. So we step down, look at the bill all over again, and come with the professional part that is not going to over. Thank you very much. Bill step down by the leave of the House. The next report to be considered is the report of the Committee on Police Affairs on a bill for an act to amend the Explosive Act Chapter E18 of the Federation of Nigeria, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, relating to their regulations, penalties for defaulters, to make provisions for the control of importation, manufacture, distribution, storage, possession, and use of firecrackers and explosives, to repeal the Explosive Act Chapter E18 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 and reenact the Explosive Act 2017 to make comprehensive provision for the use and control of explosives in Nigeria and for other matters connected therewith. House Bill 379, House Bill 498, House Bill 552, House Bill 670 of 2017. I now invite the Deputy Chairman, House Committee on Police Affairs, to speak to the report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill essentially seeks to repeal the Explosive Act number 34, 1967, Cap E18 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and to enact the Explosive Act 2017 to make comprehensive provisions for the regulation of importation, manufacture, storage, and distribution, and use of firecrackers and other pyrotechnic devices having regard to public safety and security of lives and properties. The bill also seeks to amend the provisions of the Explosive Act to provide stiffer punishment for defaulters of the law regulating to handling of explosives. Great indulgence of the House to pass the bill. Essentially, this is what it means.
I'm Remande Shaulu Kwewum, representing Takum, Donga, Osa, and Yangtu Federal Constituency. This bill became important because the original bill is just a one-page bill on the Explosives Act. It was enacted during the colonial era, and what essentially did was, at that time, explosives were used mainly in the industries. They had nothing to do with security. And so it was the minister that was regulating the use of explosives and the rest of them. And the security, it became evident in the last few years that the easy access that people had to explosives accounted for several of the bomb blasts that we had in Mina, some of the ones in the northeast, the attacks on cement industries and the rest of them. So the intention here has been to bring the regulatory framework of the use of explosives in manufacture to standard, the way it is done in most advanced countries, and even some countries in Africa like Tanzania, South Africa. So this bill essentially is to regulate the manufacture, the storage, how people can have access to explosives, and for explosives to be considered as security matters and not just industrial products which the colonial authorities had wanted them to be. So this is essentially what the bill seeks to do, to regulate whatever we have to do with explosives. And the major thing is, instead of having the minister regulate, give access to the Minister of Mines, now it is a security. In this report, it is the police that will appoint a chief inspector of explosives. That is the standard in European countries, that is the standard in South Africa, the standard in Tanzania, India, and the other parts of the world. If you want to have access, if you want to use explosives, and you will be permitted to use it under certain conditions, if you are transporting them, because presently explosives are transported from the ports in Lagos with just one policeman in the van taking them to all parts of the country. So this law seeks to regulate how you can even transport record so that we can monitor and tag explosives that are manufactured or brought into the country and know who has access to them and how they are used, so that the factories and storage facilities can be inspected on the spot, and then whatever has happened to them, it is known. And also to regulate how the people who are keeping storage of this will be profiled by the explosives, not just disappear the way they disappeared from so many of our factories in the country.
Yes. Pajok?
Mr. Chairman, I listened keenly to both the chairman, the deputy chairman of the affairs, and the chairman of the army, and I was particularly struck. We were just conversing with my colleagues here that we are now going to bring a new law into being, and we see the other law is a one-page document. Now we have a volume. So this is a very, very important law in view of what is going on in the country now, challenges of insecurity. So I am very upset to believe that maybe we just adjourn for only 1 minute, because so that we study this very, very thoroughly. As he was speaking, I'm even having some ideas on some inputs into this bill, even though it's at this stage. It will serve the national interest better. So it's just a plea, sir. Only 1 day, so that we have a thorough, because if the other one was 1 page and this one is how many pages? Yes, sir.
This your plea cannot reverse the process of the House. After passing it, if you think there is anything, there is either window before it is finally concurred with the Senate to put whatever you want to put in it. That's better. Let's see it through first. Yes, we know the implication of what you have said, And let's just go ahead and pass it so that we know there is something on ground. Then take opportunity to look at it, since it will still be attended to by the Senate. And if there is anything in the interim, we can find a way of bringing it in. So this report has 31 clauses. And so we go ahead to pass the clauses. And we are dealing with the matter in column 2. Clause 1.
Echi dị ime. Ọ dị onye mara na ihe echi ga-amụ. Eziokwu. Naanị Chineke ma echi. Echi wụchara mkpụrụ ji. O ji ngaji eri chetakwa ndị ji aka o. Ndị ahụ gị na ha nọ mgbe ị na-agbago. Cheta ha maka mgbe ị na-agbatu agbatu ị ga-ahụkwa ha. Lucky Piccolo gaa n'ihu. Onye mechie narị 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 onye mara na-echi o. Onye mechie onye na-eri n'icheta nwanne ya onye mara na-echi o. Onye mechie narị 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 onye mara na-echi o. Onye mechie onye na-eri n'icheta nwanne ya onye mara na-echi o. Onye na-eri n'icheta nwanne ya, because nobody knows tomorrow. Onye mechie narị 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 onye mara na-echi o. Onye mechie onye na-eri n'iche akpechi o. Onye mara na-echi o. Onye mechie narị 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 onye mara na-echi o. Onye mechie onye na-eri n'icheta nwanne ya onye mara na-echi o. Onye bụ uche nne m, onye m uche Chineke, onye m uche Chukwu nna ya, onye mara n'uche dị Chukwu. Onye nyagbakọ ewe, onye ga-agwa m uche onye ọgbakọ. Ịma ma ọwụ ya ṅụcha ya fama elu, ụfọdụ aṅụchakwa n'abaji ọgbakọ nwụọ. Onye bụ uche onye ọgbakọ, nobody knows. Ụfọdụ ṅụcha nwa fama elu, ụfọdụ aṅụcha nwa agbajie agbajie. Ezi ụka. Onye bụ uche nne m, ịmaga njakịrị maghị uche Chukwu nna ya. Onye nyagbakọ, ọ dị onye mara n'uche ke Chukwu. Onye nyagbakọ ewe, onye ga-agwa m uche onye ọgbakọ. Ịma ma ọwụ ya ṅụcha ya fama elu, ụfọdụ aṅụchakwa n'agbaji ọgbakọ nwụ. Ofu nwaanyị mụrụ ụmụ abụọ lee, mụ na nwichi mụ na mma na ọma o. Doma nwichi lufu oke ụnwa chimo, ake ụnwa bịa na n'obulo e. Ofu nwaanyị mụrụ ụmụ abụọ, ya mụọ nwichi mụọ mma na ọma, nwichi wu mbe. Ashịgba. Ofu nwaanyị mụrụ ụmụ abụọ lee, mụ na nwichi mụ na mma na ọma o. Doma nwichi lufu oke ụnwa o chimo, ake ụnwa ejila obulo bịa o. Ajụma nwiche lee nne gị, nwiche nwe ọnụ o ji ekwu ka ị. Ihe mụwa nwiche nwe ọnụ onwe anya, onwe awụkwụ o ji aga ije. Ewere ke nwichi doma ya ala, ewere ke mmanụ doma n'uko. Ke ụmụ na tialụ kwụchi aka ya ewe, aka dị n'uko. Ihe Chineke ji nye anyị wọnịnị, ndị mmadụ emebiela ya ee. Ndị mmadụ emebiela ya ndị mmadụ emebiela ya ndị mmadụ emebiela na ya ụmụ mmadụ emebiela ya iwu Chineke nyere ndị mmadụ anyị emebiela ya ndị mmadụ emebiela ya ndị mmadụ emebiela ya ndị mmadụ emebiela na ya Chimo ndị mmadụ emebiela ya ihe Chineke ji nye anyị wọnịnị anyị alaluela ya gbara na ime ya ụmụ mmadụ emebiela ya ụmụ mmadụ emebiela ya ndị mmadụ emebiela na ya ndị mmadụ emebiela ya sacha anyị ka anyị dị ọcha ka anyị wee na-aghọta mgbe anyị na-emehie si n'ememe ewezuga onwe anyị n'aha nke Nna na nke Ọkpara na nke Mmụọ Nsọ amen. Ngwa nyenu ma na-enyenu nyenu aga na-enyenu ngozi ga-adịrị ndị na-enye enye kara ndị na-anara anara. Blessed are the hand that giveth than the hand that taketh. Nkara bere gbugburu onwe ya agboro ogbu ọkpọrọ agbara ibe ya gbuokwa ya ọkpọrọ megabit njenu Lucky Piccolo gwa ya okwu na megabit n'ebe a ka ọ na-akpọtụ anyị bụrụ ya echi anyị ga-abịa ọka na-egbutula m chala mma gara ọka na-egbutula m chere mebiri obere m ụtọ ori onye mburu obere m mma ọrịa ma mgbara ele n'ihe merele onye ka ndị chere mebiri ihe Chineke ji nye anyị wọnịnị ndị mmadụ abaluola ya ọka na-egbukwara m chala mma gara onye ka na-egbutula m ala mebiri obere m ụtọ ori oshi nzuru obere m mma ọrịa ma mgbara ele n'ihe mere mejọ onye ka na-echere mebiri iwu Chineke nyere ndị mmadụ ndị mmadụ emebiela ya mmadụ emebiela ya ndị mmadụ emebiela ya ndị mmadụ emebiela na ya ndị mmadụ emebiela ya ihe Chineke ji nye anyị wọnịnị anyị emebiela ya lee onye ishishi a na-ahụhụ n'ụra taa nga achebụwa ya na chi ya onye na-arahụkwa nna onye mechie onye na-eri n'ichetakwa echi onye mara na-echi onye mechie onye na-eri n'inyedo nwanne ya onye mara na-echi onye mechie narị na.
I think we need their support. Their lawyers, also Honorable Ajayi, what do you think? Chairman, Rules and Business, are you following what you are saying? Did you read it? Go to page 7.
Mr. Chairman, I don't want to take us back. We have ruled on this matter. But this is completely new territory. And I'm thinking we should revive the application that Pajok made. So, because I think we want to make justice to this situation. So even though you have ruled, but I'm thinking to make justice to this case, just allow us to go back and do justice. Because we'll go back and forth on this thing. And we're talking about security of this nation. Tomorrow we'll bring it back on the further paper, if it pleases you. What happens to tomorrow?
Because of the man that has just contributed, because that is the one that we always guide the presiding officers. So there's no harm in rescinding my own earlier decision that we should go ahead. Because we have been properly guided, but only one day that Pajok is mentioning. How are we sure? So I will now use this one. Police Affairs Committee, Chairman Army, Chairman Rules and Business, MT Moguno, Honorable Shagari, Honorable Pajok, Honorable Yinka Ajayi, and MS Abdul to sit on this and bring it back tomorrow for consideration. Yes. Shoaib, are you the presiding officer? Why are you saying Tuesday? You are not behaving as if you are advising me. You said Tuesday. Are you sat in a regular manner and say Tuesday? Did you get the name? Did you get the name? Police Affairs Committee, Chairman Army, Chairman Rules and Business, MT Moguno, Shagari, Pajok, Adeyinka Ajayi, the MS Abdul. So you look at it and bring back on Tuesday. Bring back on Tuesday. Acting leader.
Honorable Chairman, honorable members, I hereby move that the House do revert back to plenary to report progress.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I second the motion as ably moved by the acting leader of the House.
The House hereby reverts back to plenary to report progress. Okay. The House in the Committee of the Whole resumed consideration on the report of the Committee on Police Affairs on a bill for an act to amend the Explosive Act Chapter E18 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 relating to their regulations, penalties for defaulters, to make provision for the control of importation, manufacture and distribution, storage, possession, and use of firecrackers and explosives, to repeal the Explosive Act Chapter E18 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 and reenact the Explosive Act 2017 to make comprehensive provision for the use and control of explosives in Nigeria for matters connected therewith. The House in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Agricultural Production and Services on a bill for an act discipline of members of the profession and for related matters. Defer the consideration of the report. MT.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I hereby move that the House do adopt the report of the Committee of the Whole.
Chairman of the report as moved by the acting leader of the House. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Yeah, acting leader.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I hereby move that the House do adjourn plenary to tomorrow, the 1st of February 2018 by 11 a.m.
Chairman, Rules and Business.
Thank you. I rise to second the motion for adjournment as moved by the acting leader of the House. I so second.
The House stands adjourned till tomorrow, Thursday, 1st of February 2018, 11 a.m.